What's up, guys, and welcome back to another episode of I'll Call You Right Back podcast. It's me, your host. My name is Chad Medved. Welcome to the show. We got to get right into business. This week is it's a big one, but first thing is first. Turner Dairy Farms released their chocolate marshmallow limited edition milk. It is my second favorite of all the limited edition milks that they have, and I think they have well over 10. But go down to the local bodega, grab yourself a pint of the chocolate marshmallow limited edition milk before it is gone, because there's a good chance that I might just buy it all. I have a mini fridge in the studio, and you already know I got it stocked in there for any of the guests that come in. You know, I like to have it just on hand in case someone wants to try it. You know, I should have all the limited edition flavors. I'm going to have to talk to Turner's and have them send me a pack to keep in the fridge. But anyway, the reason that everyone is here this week, very, very big week and very, very important week. This week I sit down with local mixed media artist fancybread. So fancybread, or Eli Marovich, is you know, I often try to think about how I can describe people, but it's hard to describe him because, like, whenever I say artist, you know, I think of, you know, physical art and everything like that. But like, after talking to him, the dude is like spiritual. He's motivated. He's in his own words, disciple of discipline. And, oh man, I just really, really love talking to him. Like, out of 164 episodes, I mean, this got to be in my top 10. And he's doing some cool shit this week. So, I mean, we talk all about his life, how he got into doing art, his like wild ride of a life. You know, the dude played like Division II basketball, almost signed his life away to play for the Washington Generals. If you don't know who they are, that's the team that gets shit on by the Harlem Globetrotters each night. So, you know, he was just a great basketball player. So, like, you know, that was a big part of his life. Art was never a really big thing. So it's kind of cool to hear how his life took him to being a well-known, you know, artist in the city. You know, he makes dope work. I've been following him for a while, but we talk all about that. And like, we talk about his mindset. We talk about like his beliefs, you know, his spirituality. And it's like, you know, it's really, really great in-depth conversations filled with gems. You know, there's fucking life gems on this podcast every week. I tell him that every week I feel like I take like a little gem from someone that they drop on this podcast, and I just put it in a little bag. And Eli has about 6 gems in my bag now, because he was just dropping shit, and I was just like, holy shit, this guy's the fucking, you know, he's preaching on here. You know, he's speaking the word on here. And that's all I could ask for. But besides for a great conversation, Eli, or fancybread, is doing a ridiculous feat this weekend. So an Ironman race is like, you know, it's, you know, in the realm of a marathon plus, you know, it's a marathon for animals. So an Ironman was planned for the coast of Spain. That's the hardest Ironman, I think he said, in the world. And fancybread was planning on competing in that. He was going to go fly over to Spain, but obviously COVID fucked it up. But an Ironman is a 2.4 mile swim, a 112 mile bike ride, and a 26.2 mile run consecutively. You know what I mean? Consecutively. So he was going to go to Spain and run this thing, but obviously plans were halted, and now he was like, you know, fuck it, I'm going to do it right here in Pittsburgh. So on Saturday, fancybread is going to jump in the river at the Southside boat launch at 6 a.m. He's going to be wearing a wetsuit, wake up 6 a.m., jog down to the Southside boat launch, hop in there, swim over to Heinz Field, get on a bike up to Venango County, up through 51 and everything. God be with him. And he is going to, once he's done biking 112 miles up to Venango, he is going to then run a fucking marathon, 26.2 miles, to Presqu'Isle Bay, where he is going to jump in Presqu'Isle Bay to celebrate an amazing adventure. And after talking to him, there is no doubt in my mind that he isn't just gonna like rip through this thing. The dude is he's a beast. And I got chills like the whole time talking to him, just because he was just preaching fucking, you know, dropping wisdom on everyone. You know, he was doing us a favor, dropping wisdom. And I was just kind of in awe of like his mindset and how, you know, he was very reflective of himself, because, you know, I often think of myself like that. I was so different. rent like 10 years ago, but it's like I spend so much time reflecting on like how I've changed over the last decade, and it's refreshing to hear like someone else that's my age that's like, you know, kind of like similar mindset like that, like reflecting on their past and using all their experiences to better their future. But he's not just doing this Ironman just to do it. You know, he's doing it for a good cause. So there is a organization called the Allegheny Cleanways, and they are responsible for cleaning up the rivers and other miscellaneous things. So right now he has a GoFundMe. It's available through the bio on his Instagram at fancybread. You could click on that. You could donate money to the Allegheny Cleanways. He's going to donate that through there, and that's just going to help out our city even more. The Mon is filled with creatures from the fucking Black Lagoon, some rubble, some cars, some fucking dead bodies. That's fucked up, but I mean, like, hey, it's probably true. And a couple three-eyed fish, but he's going to be swimming through there, and you know, it would have been nice to have some shit cleaned up beforehand, but I mean, you know, he's out there. You know, he's on the front lines making it happen. But, you know, I went over, I donated some money, and I could see that you know, hopefully it surpasses what he had. You know, he has a $2,000 goal on there, and I think it was already up to like $1,800 already. So, I mean, if you got some extra scratch, hop on over to the Fancy Bread bio and click on the GoFundMe and donate some money to help better our city, because, you know, Pittsburgh is fucking awesome. You know what I mean? It's just like anything we could do to try to help is fantastic. And anyone who donates over $20 is automatically entered to win a Willie Stargell paper collage that Fancy Bread created. And like I said, if you've never seen his work, hop on over to his Instagram and you will see exactly like how dope his shit is. And I mean, a great conversation, everyone. I'm geeked about it. You know, I'm very excited. Please go follow him at Fancy Bread on Instagram. He has a video that he posted that is going to go over everything about the Ironman, where the money's going to, how you could help, where you could help, and it's fun. He's out here doing some good shit. So without further ado, episode 164 of I'll Call You Right Back podcast with Fancy Bread. Hello?
Telephone.
I'll call you right back. Call you right back.
Telephone.
I'll Call You Right Back podcast. That's what I've been trying to do. This is the only...
I'll start slouching though, for sure.
The only thing that is bad about the podcast experience that I fucking hate still is that I need to find chairs.
Yeah.
I've been looking for chairs, so I've been looking everywhere for chairs, and you just can't find any that are like decent, that are not $850.
Right.
Is that good for you?
This is perfect. Is that cool? Is it close enough here?
Yeah, you just want to be like, you know, you don't want to be like all
like
up
the
on
Joe
it.
Rogan fish thing.
Yeah, it's like, but it's basically like the ice.
Okay.
Like,
Yeah.
think of it as like an ice cream cone, but it's like,
This is cool.
If you have headphones on, you could hear like,
Yeah, I can tell when I'm drifting and
pulling away. That's what. So like, that's like another reason
here
that
we go.
this is.
Oh, yeah.
This is like another reason it was way better than like doing it in my living room, because I didn't have headphones for everyone.
Yeah.
So if people were like talking to me and
that
like
sucks.
drifting away, like they wouldn't be able to, if they were being like real animated, they just like wouldn't know
Yeah.
how it was going to be.
And then you're doing that thing where you're like, can you talk into the mic? Can you talk into the mic? Can you
Yeah.
talk into the mic?
So before,
They
and
don't-
like
they
I-
can't tell that they're fucking up.
like this is, I need to get better arms. Like that's the next investment, just so you can like pivot them very easily rather than like have to fuck with a clamp.
Yeah. Do you think like more points on the more pivots? Because me and Nick were talking about that actually too.
Well,
because
it's
we
like-
have those ones that mount. Like,
Yeah, that's what I had.
Do you think those are better or worse than these?
It all depends. If you could have someone who is like contained, if you could find the right chair that,
So you think the chair is almost like the beginning, like
See,
the foundation?
I have a very, very wild theory about
Okay.
this. So like
Nice.
you can get deep in it. It's like chairs cannot have wheels on them. Can't.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely
Yeah. You got to
cannot.
be sitting still.
Got to be sitting still.
Okay.
And if you have a chair and you're coming up on the mic, you're going to be drifting backwards. If your shit isn't completely level, you're going to be drifting
Right.
backwards. So it's
That's
like,
crazy too. Yeah.
ain't it wild? So it's
Yeah.
like, you know, it's cozy,
Yeah.
but it's like, I need to find a chair with fucking just legs on them. So I found these like decent ones at IKEA. My boy works at IKEA, and I was like, what's up with these chairs? And he was like, they're nice. Can't get them for like 6 months. And I'm like, and I'm just like, what the fuck? So it's like, I've been looking every day on Facebook Marketplace, and that is a fucking pit.
Yeah.
Pit of despair.
Yeah. Are these still available? That's that's Facebook Marketplace in a nutshell.
Well, the thing that I hate more than anything is there needs to be a filter where you could just put, it says local. You know what I mean? And if you click local, I want to be able to drive in 25 miles how I have it set.
Right.
I don't want it to say free delivery and free shipping, because anything that's dope, you're like, oh, I bet that's dope. Like, I'll definitely get that. Then it's like, oh, we'll ship it to you.
Yeah. And that doesn't, what's the point? What's going on there?
What's going on there?
Slowly turning to Amazon.
That's what I'm saying. It's just like,
maybe that's what they're doing.
It's just fucked up. It's just like because, I try to go to places and find it around here. Mm-hmm. I want to just buy shit from here. I don't want to buy more garbage.
Yeah, but it's tough, dude.
I know. It's
local
stressful.
Shopping. It's like, it's good in theory until, it only gets you so far.
Yeah, it only gets you so far.
You want to shop local, and you can when for the right stuff, but there's just stuff. It's like, you're not going to find, no one in Pittsburgh's making the greatest podcasting chair of all time.
I know. And that's what's so hard to do. You got to
face that reality.
It's so hard to think about that. And as like someone who's an artist, I feel like a foundation of like, a pillar of artwork is community in some sense.
For sure.
Because whether it be community in a smaller radius, like around Pittsburgh, or if you grow to be someone that's like fucking, whoever, fucking Banksy or whatever the fuck it is, like everyone in the world knows that. So that's still a community, but it's all over the world. But it's like, I want to try to like, that's like one of my pillars that I want to have with this podcast, is it for it to be, a community, like I want to be able to promote people inside the community.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like,
no, that's it. Like where you have a guy, you're like, this is my guy who does, makes the kitchen tables.
Dude, exactly.
And
it's
then,
like,
yeah, 100%.
Like someone hit me up the other day and was like, hey, do you know anyone with food trucks? And I was like, fuck yeah. It's like, my boy, you got a food truck.
Yeah.
This is him. Email right there. I just want to like,
just middleman.
I want to put things together to people,
which is awesome.
I feel like that if I could like develop this enough, and fine tune this enough, it's going to make it just that much more consumable for,
it just is cooler.
Yeah. So, I mean, like,
people would have identities within your community.
100%.
You know what I mean? Where it's like all the people that listen to your show would know the kitchen table guy.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's dope.
And that's what I thought. Like, that's what I dream of.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
It's just like, you want good ice cream? Like, there's places, listen to these people, and these podcasts are like almost like a.
Tell them Chad sent you.
It's like reading a Spark Notes of like someone's whole entire life, and you could go and shop at a business, but it's like, I might like that person's product, but if they're a piece of shit, I don't want to support their product.
Right.
As terrible as that is.
Yeah.
But it's like, if you're a piece of shit, I don't want nothing to do with it.
Exactly. Yeah.
So listening to a conversation like that, you can't hide being a piece of shit.
Yeah, exactly.
With like a long form podcast,
Yeah.
but like I'm we're full circle. We're fine tuning it.
Right.
I got to get some new chairs. Went on a real deep.
We'll find you some chairs, man. Don't worry.
Find you some chairs. I've been out there looking, but all right. So before I get into anything, I do an opening segment with everyone. It's called "What's in the Cup." All right, what's in your cup?
I'm with the Turners, man.
You gotta have the Turners.
I'm with the Turners.
I love it. Whenever someone says Turners, it's just nice because it's like, this is real. People really pick this all the time.
Yeah. Shall we we'll have a cheers?
Look at that. Rude
off
me.
the top. No, it's fine.
All right, cheers. We got the regular Turners and the diet Turners. I'm always on the diet Turners. But all right, so like anytime I have someone over who I followed on social media, I always try to like dig deep back and try to think about how I came across them. And I feel like the thing that had to put me across you was the Mac Miller picture. Maybe that. I mean, I don't know where else it could have been. Like, because I was looking through all your stuff, and like when was that? Do you remember?
It's when he passed away. So September 2 years ago.
Yeah. So like, it had to be that. But we've been following each other for a minute.
Yeah.
And I've been looking through all your stuff, and I remember I hit you up a while ago, like whenever I first started this.
Yeah.
Did you have long hair then?
Yeah, I had real long hair down to, I don't know, my nipples.
Yeah. You had the long hair.
I had the long curly flow. Then I chopped it to a mullet. Then
oh, wow. You went to mullet?
I got serious. Yeah. And I grew up.
What do you mean serious? Like, do you
I'm
think a mullet is not serious?
No, it was a serious mullet.
Yeah.
But no, I just, went back to like the high.
You mean
tight.
your hair grows in all white trash like that?
Yeah.
Like Joe Dirt?
What's inside you comes out, man.
I love a mullet though. Like I like how people are embracing that, and it's like coming out as like a very, very like, it's like an in style haircut now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't want to like start the show with saying that I called that years ago, but you could ask the people when I started growing my mullet. I was like, in 2-3 years, mullets will be like really cool.
They'll be back again. Yeah. Now I have to ask, because I have a theory that Theo Von is one of the catalysts to all this, because I mean, before him, I don't know if I knew of a mainstream person rocking a mullet just dead serious. I don't know if he's dead serious, but like he lives it.
Yeah. Well, that's funny you brought that up, because I was listening to the Riff Raff episode.
Oh my God.
The other day, and he has the mullet too, and they were going back and forth for 5 minutes, just making metaphorical jokes about the mullet.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Those it's wild to see like what in the world is like coming back. It's like fanny packs are back. People are wearing like all the vintage stuff is just coming back. It's all full circle of life.
I think the '80s color palette's gonna start really hitting soon.
Like this.
That's
hot
my
pink.
next predict. Yeah,
yeah.
You've been rocking that. Yeah, I like these mic cables too.
I appreciate that. These are a new touch. I still don't know if I love them yet. I feel like that they're somewhat distractive.
I noticed them right away.
Well, that's good then. This is all new. Like this is like being able to like look at this wall.
Yes.
Like
who did that? It's very good.
So his name is Lysol. He's an artist. He goes by a infamous name. His name is Lysol. He's from the city. Nice. He lives in the city, and he just does like, I came across him because he does like almost like tattoo flash, but like, he thrives on not being a tattoo artist. Like he doesn't tattoo.
Okay.
He just is a very, very appreciative and lover of the styles.
Gotcha.
And like, he does all this wild shit. Like he did like a whole Breaking Bad one, and he'll do like Seinfeld, and like he does, and it's all so dope. And I came across him I won like a giveaway on Instagram, probably like 3 or 4 years ago of this like real sick, like colored in, like old school flash sheet. And he, we always just been following each other, and he always anytime he puts anything out, it's dope. And he started doing these woodcuts. And whenever I asked him to be on the podcast, he made me that print right there.
I think I listened to that up, as a matter of fact. Yeah, dude, I remember seeing this print.
All talking about
his
like
stuff's cool.
All talking about like, that's someone who I was just like, I have no idea what this dude's gonna be like.
Yeah.
His episode was so cool, talking about trains and like the old school like sign art and everything. Yeah. But he ended up giving me that phone whenever I moved in here and started the thing, and I just was like, I gotta hit him up to do the rest of it. So shout out to Lysol. I mean, he made that whole background, but
looks official.
I appreciate that. That's good coming from an artist like yourself. Now, so I need to know where your name came from.
Fancy bread.
Fancy bread.
Cool story with the fancy bread. I haven't told it properly on Instagram yet, but I'm about to.
Okay.
So I was in Los Angeles for 2 years, right after I graduated from college.
You lived there?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I had a ton of interviews. So I got my MBA. I played hoops in college. Got my MBA. Yeah. Like Division III and Division II. But I got my MBA, went out to LA, was interviewing at tech startups out there, and didn't like any of the jobs, basically. Every interview I ever had went like this. Eli, we really like you, but we don't think you're passionate about the position. And I would go, yeah, I'm not. Like straight up. And I was cool with them because we hit it off. And I would just be like, yeah, I don't want to do that.
Yeah, you're just being like honest.
Yeah. And we would like laugh, and they'd be like, all right, well, like, we'll see ya. And I'd be like, all right, like, good luck, And it was cool. It always
mutually part ways.
It always ended good, but I just didn't want any of the job side. I was like, all right, I'm going to do something. I started doing art, and
Wait. You just started doing art recently?
I'm coming up on 6 years.
Okay.
So this is 5.5 years.
I'm doing us both a disservice. Before we get into like all this, I need to know what you were like back then. So like whenever you were growing up in school, like where'd you grow up at?
I went to Chartiers Valley High School.
Okay.
I grew up like Carnegie, Bridgeville.
Yeah.
Yeah. Near
I think
Banksville Road.
we might even played you in. How old are you?
09, I graduated high school.
Okay.
I'm 30.
Yeah, I'm 30 as
Big
well.
3-0, man.
How do you feel about it, first of all?
It's not a big deal. Like, I'm single. So that, I guess that's the only thing that kind of sucks is because, like, saying, I thought I was feeling old when I would be like, yeah, I'm 29.
Yeah.
But now you got to hit them with the, yeah, I'm 30. So that's the only time. But I actually feel better than I ever have in my life, mentally, physically, everything.
Yeah,
so,
dude. Like,
you know what I mean? Like, I don't give a shit about being 30.
Yeah.
That's really the only negative. But
it's interesting
really
because
not that bad.
you hear about it growing up. It's like, oh, you know, I don't ever want to grow up. And it's like, I'm not someone who's just like, oh my God, I'm 30 now. It's like, I'm out here fucking grinding. It's like, I'm cool. Bring on, you know, I'm trying to get salt and pepper, George Clooney with it.
It's fine, dude.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
I'm here to embrace it, here for a good time.
Gun,
to get the salt and pepper gun. But it's like, growing up, were you into artwork at all?
Yeah, I mean, I always doodled a ton. I always made stuff. I used to make movies. Like, my mom got me a video camera when I was real little.
Yep.
I made a bunch of Lego movies. I used to draw.
Like stop animation and stuff?
Yeah, just like I would tie the little string to the cop Lego car and drag it across the screen. You know,
did all that stuff.
And do stupid shit like that. I'd make like cartoons. But here's the thing. I did that all my life. I thought like everybody did that. So I didn't really, I never like looked at myself as like an artistic,
Yeah.
And I hooped, like I played
people
sports.
do.
Yeah. I played sports nonstop all the time.
Just basketball?
I played everything else leading up to like, I guess high school. I just committed straight to hoops. But I kind of regret that because like it put hoops on such like a pedestal. You know, then you were like nervous because it was like
your life.
the only thing you do and it all comes down to this. And it's like, I could have just had.
Were you guys
so
good
much
in
more
high
fun.
school?
Yeah, we were nasty, but we choked. TJ McConnell was like a year younger than me. We were 24-0 my senior year.
Is that how you know him?
Yeah. We were 24-0 my senior year, and we lost in the Whitfield semis, and we like choked it up.
Jeez.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
We were like super nice.
That's wild because it's such like an opposite spectrum because whenever I was a captain of my football team, we didn't win a game.
Yeah.
You know, we played against, I went to Elizabeth Forward.
Okay. Yeah.
So we played against like Thomas Jefferson and I was playing against Luke
Dynasty.
Nix, who was just like played against the fucking
You were lined
Raiders.
up against him?
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Fuck, dude.
It feels like you were wrestling a bear.
Right.
My dad would get walloped, mollywopped by Luke Nix.
Right.
And
That guy
like,
was a beast.
Oh my God. And all them people were just like thoroughbreds. It was like a fucking team of like Seabiscuits.
Right. Yeah. They're like worse players. They're like bench players had the mentality of like an all-star in another team.
So this might be like it might be like the Mandela effect. Do you remember that TV show on MTV called like Hoover? It was like about that really good football team. So there was lore in our school that TJ's backfield went down and played 7-on-7 with these dudes
Really?
and wiped them.
Really?
And I remember hearing that, and it's just like we didn't win any games coming up. Even 3 years before I became, the captain, we just weren't that good. And I was like when we were walking down to go play, it's like I have these fucking battle axes of the eye black on it. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna try to do my best. We just get shit on every time.
Yeah,
and it was just so discouraging.
Man, they were something.
Were you you were, if you guys were good, it's like, were all your sports good?
We had our baseball team was really good. They lost in the state final my senior year.
No one really cares about baseball though, right? That's not
well, my some of my good friends are like the stars of the team. But we didn't get to go to the, you can't like go. Well, I guess we could have, but like.
But it's like no one really goes to a baseball team.
Right,
Basketball games are lit.
Our games are insane, dude. We used to have like, if you look back at the films and stuff, I mean, our gym holds, I want to say like 2,500 or something like that.
Wow.
I could be wildly inaccurate. But it's big as shit, and it was packed every single night. When we would play Upper St. Clair would have I'm not kidding you, 400. This is another wildly potentially inaccurate number. They would have massive amount. I mean, over 200 to 400, something like that.
Yeah.
Students wearing suits.
Oh, yeah.
They would coordinate it, and every kid would show up wearing a suit. Like, you can't even get 50 students at a game anymore because kids just don't give a shit.
That's
but back
wild.
then, it was like the thing that you did because there wasn't like social media and all that shit.
Yeah,
you couldn't
for
like
sure.
really talk to people other than being with them.
AIM and shit like that. You know what I mean?
On Instant Messenger.
It's like I didn't have a cell phone until I was a senior, but it's wild to think about that because we weren't even good and our basketball team was, I mean, I guess our basketball team was all right, but it was just like, the games were fucking crazy. And it would be insane to like, kind of be a good sports team where you were like coming up and doing all that.
It hurt my college career, honestly, because then I went to Ithaca College and on a Saturday we'd be playing in, Hoboken's kind of a cool city, but let me think like, Oswego on like a Saturday and like all my freshman friends are back there getting wasted, like
having
partying,
a good time.
and I'm playing in front of like 20 people in the middle of central New York.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what, this is suck. Cause like I didn't realize how good I had it. I thought that's like what high school hoops was like. I basically played for Duke of like a high school.
Yeah.
We got 4 pairs of shoes. We went to Florida for Christmas tournament.
Yeah, and people know you.
Yeah,
like you're
teachers
like
would let me slide on half
Fuck
my
yeah.
shit. Like I was just living this life
we
that
weren't
I thought
even
was
good,
like,
and I got to be like tests were just
Yeah.
like brushed away.
Yeah, then I get to Ithaca. I'm sleeping in my one of my freshman like economics classes, and the dude's like, "Hey, Mr. Maris, what the hell are you doing back there? You're sleeping in my fucking class." And I'm like, I'm on the basketball team. He's like, and everybody looked at me like, what a fucking dickhead this kid is. And I'm like, honestly, obviously looking back, I understand I was being a dickhead.
Yeah.
But I literally, that was my mentality. Like, I can do whatever I want.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, like I had a similar mindset where it was just like, I look back on whenever I was, 21, 18, 19, 20, like them years. And I'm just like, ugh, like, I look at like Facebook memories and just the way I used to talk and like the shit that I reposted. And I was just like, just like quoting like, like just emo ass music about like ex-girlfriends and shit. And I'm just like, God, you're embarrassing.
Yeah. Well, I will say this. I think that's going to happen. We're all going to have that same thing at like 40.
And
we're going to look back and be like, man, remember when you were 30? The
100%.
shit you were doing?
100%.
That's just life. You go through life a dumbass.
Listen to
and you
these
get wise.
podcasts, talk about dumbass shit while I'm 40.
Right. We'll maybe when we're 40, we can link up and listen to this.
We'll
and
do
just
this again.
Roast our old selves.
Play fucking pickleball or something.
Yeah, for sure.
So like going to a school like that and kind of like, was basketball like always like your main focus? Like you wanted to,
Yeah, it was that.
you wanted to be like a professional basketball player?
Pretty much. I mean, so my last name's Maravich. Pistol Pete is my third cousin.
I'm going to tell you one thing. I couldn't even name you like 2 people on the Steelers, and I played football for a decade. Like I just don't watch sports. I don't know who that is.
So Pistol Pete Maravich, he's an all-time NCAA Division I leading scorer.
Oh, wow.
He played 3 years. Their family's from Aliquippa, but he went to LSU.
And how are you related to him?
He's my third cousin. His
Runs in the
dad,
blood.
His dad grew up in the same house as my pap in Aliquippa. They were cousins, so then
That's
through
wild.
the lineage. But either way, the point is basketball. Like it's like my family
Runs in the family.
Yeah, my dad played AAA baseball, but like that's just how I was playing sports, and like there was never a doubt that I would try to like make that my thing.
And if
you know
have
what I mean,
family,
you just do that.
Yeah, if you have
that's how
family
it
that's
goes.
all like doing good and
Yeah.
like doing all that, that's just like the natural path that you're
Right.
on.
I never like really considered anything else until then. I got old enough to be like, damn, it's probably not going to happen.
I guess this ain't
you
gonna
wake
happen.
up one day and that's kind of how it goes.
Now, like, did you have like a focus in school though? What you wanted to do?
No, I
Okay.
just did. I went for like sport management at first.
Yeah.
And like, dude, working in sport, that's cool.
Yeah.
I didn't give a shit. And then, I don't know. School, I never liked school. I hated school.
Yeah.
I loved to learn.
Yeah.
I hated school.
Yeah. You wanted to be able to like, I mean, you didn't like the environment of like the people, or you didn't like the shit you were learning about. I wanted to learn about what I wanted to. Like I was just there serving time. I liked like, chilling with my friends and stuff, but I never cared enough to want to pay attention in history or pay attention in like some shit came easier to me, but it was like, I fucking hated just like learning about this dumbass shit that like I just didn't care about back then. In hindsight, it makes me sick because it's like, I I feel like a fucking idiot sometimes, but it's like now I'm older and like I can reflect on myself, and it makes me feel a certain type of way about myself in a good way, that like I could reflect on myself and like realize that was the way I was, and realize that, you know, this is who I am now. And like, this is why I want to, you know, learn about how to fucking, you know, bake bread or, you know, do any of this shit. I'm just like, I just want to be able to like be constructive and do cool shit.
Yeah. Well, I think you can tell just based off the fact that you do this as a hobby, like this is your passion.
That's fair.
You teach yourself the shit you're interested in.
That's
like,
good
you're
point,
a passionate guy. There's no debate. You know what I mean? Just by evidence of me sitting here right now.
Yeah.
The thing with school was, well, I think it relates all to that, is the passion thing.
Yeah.
Like there's shit, everybody has stuff that they're interested in. And I think also, well, that first and foremost is why I didn't like half of the subjects there. I just didn't care about stuff, you know, but the stuff that I liked, I was really good at.
Yeah.
You know, like we had a TV media class, and I would just skip all my other classes to do that.
Yeah. And go do shit like that.
And sure, that was, you wouldn't call that like the same as history.
Yeah.
We were making stupid videos, but I loved it.
Yeah.
I would have done it all day. You know what I mean? And I was sitting there sleeping in calc, sleeping in history. Like I didn't care about that stuff. But the other thing too, I think, is that with teachers and with school in general, is that you get a lot of teachers, and this is obviously, it depends on what school you're at and everything like that. But teachers have to have a passion about what they're teaching you.
100%.
Like you can't teach anybody anything you're not passionate about, because the passion, it's almost the energy of you talking about it comes through
1,000,000%.
And that's what's attractive.
And it's also the presentation.
You make it attractive. Like if people want to know what you're doing when you make it look cool.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to know what you're doing when
that's
it's
interesting.
stupid.
That's interesting to think about. It's like because those are the type of teachers that are like the ones that always stick with you for the rest of your life, or the ones that like are able to communicate it to you in a way that, you know, makes it easy for you to learn, where it's just like, you know, makes it, you know, easy enough for you to catch on to, and then like could progress, you know, naturally as they could see it, you know, go throughout the class. But some teachers were just fucking assholes that were just like on a power trip, and it was evident who those people were.
Yeah, it's so obvious. I mean, so let's just look at like, for example, when I was in college, I had some professors who would even teach like very difficult topics such as like investment, you know, retirement portfolio stuff. I had this guy for that, and it was hard as shit, but he was super into it.
Yeah.
He loved it. And like, I don't really care about that, but to this day, I'm like set for when I need to actually worry about that, you know, because I know what
sticks with you.
but he was super energetic about it. Then you had professors where they would get a textbook,
a drone.
They would buy the PowerPoints that came with the textbook, and then they would just read off the PowerPoint in the class as like the class. And
Sickening.
it's like, you don't even know this shit.
I know.
Like, and I don't need you to stand here like a dumbass and read me this thing, dude. I used to shred my professors, dude. Shred them. Like I
never went.
I would just raise my hand, correct like the people like that. I would just be a menace, because they are also the people who'd make you come to class, like attendance policies, you know, because they didn't want nobody to come, because nobody would come because they sucked. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So they would have that. So I would sit there and I would just make it my job to just fuck with them.
Whenever I was in school, it's like, I remember thinking about like, you know, what do I want to, you know, I don't know, coming up in school, it's just like, they never like, you know, it's always like, you got to do this regular shit, doctor, lawyer, engineer, things like that, or your life's going to be a piece of shit. Like, I try so hard to think back, and, you know, I'm sure we had like, you know, trades, you know, like trade sort of like, you know, presentations and everything, but it was never like highlighted on, you know what I mean? Like, it was just not, I feel like nowadays kids like are able to, it's more like open for, you know, different options, but we were still kind of in that like funnel of like the old way, where you had to like, if you're not going to school, like, oh, you know, it's going to be the end of the world. Mm-hmm. So it's like, I never, you know, going to Slippery Rock, I was just like, oh, I like working with kids. I'll just go for like elementary ed, special ed. And it's just like, I don't know. I just hated school so much that I just didn't go, ended up failing out of that. And like, you know, a couple years later, once I like was done with it, I like my brain like caught up to like, you know, or my life became mature enough to like understand like, oh, I want to like do good in this stuff. And it's like, that's cool and everything like that. But like, it's so hard to think about that now, because now people are like having businesses on their phones and everything like that. And it's just like, I'm not complaining about it all, but it's like, it wasn't like that whenever I feel like when we were coming up. Like, it wasn't like, my parents didn't know about like social media really like that. Yeah. And it's just like so crazy how everything progressed. Like, look at the fucking Paul brothers. It's like just on YouTube, these fucking guys are just like ridiculous. Yeah. And it's like that shit just like wasn't relevant back then. But it's, I don't know. I'm getting on a deeper tangent, but now when does like, when does your focus shift from like, oh, I got to go to school and all this stuff to like, how does that kind of come to where you are now?
Well, I had a major decision to make. I should have mentioned this quick, but I'll just briefly mention it and then get to the point where I got to here. I had it after Ithaca College. I had 1 year left eligibility, and I was talking to the Washington Generals. They lose to the Harlem Globetrotters every night.
Yeah,
it's just like an act, but you hoop. I was gonna go to Australia to start like a world tour with them.
Really?
Yeah, I was gonna play for them, and I mean, you just get waxed by the Globetrotters. And it's all
like still kind of fun though.
Yeah, but you still in the days you hoop like for real.
Yeah,
and then at night you do the show.
You love basketball though.
Oh yeah.
Do you still love it?
I still play, but not like I, not.
Yeah, you're not like
obviously
getting all crazy.
Yeah, I mean it's just like
you play against Nick.
Yeah. We run the course down at Birmingham Bridge.
I know he told me that you guys are.
We hoop down there, bro.
He said nice. You guys are out there just making it
fun,
work.
Dude. It's fun. But yeah, that's like it's pretty much limited to that. But I was between that and then going back to school to get my MBA and like play Division II, and I knew what I wanted to do, man. I knew what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to go get waxed. Yeah. My friends always joked, they're like, bro, you would have led the Washington Generals to the first ever win, because I hate losing so much. But I would have led the rebellion. But
that would have been so funny.
Dude, I wanted to do that. And then like everybody kind of in my life was like, you can always do that after you get your MBA. Like take the scholarship, get your MBA, But I knew what I wanted to do deep down, but I kind of let all that shit get to my head, and then like I went against like kind of my gut.
Yeah.
Biggest regret ever. And then I also handled it unbelievably immaturely. I was just like such a baby about the decision, and I didn't like go hard at my school. When I look back, like the people that knew me there were all cool and everything, is because it's like I was their teammates and everything, and we had a good time, right? Yeah. And we worked, we practiced. I like worked hard at practice and stuff, but like I really wasn't all in, and I always look back at those relationships and I just feel shitty about them, because I'm like, I didn't give those people what they deserve. I committed to this thing, and then I was just such a little bitch about it.
That's cool that like you could, I feel like it says something about like you, like who you are as a person, to be able to like, be vulnerable and like say that, because it's like, I don't know. I feel like a lot of people like wouldn't just like, like see it from the other end, just stay in their own like thoughts and everything. But that's cool.
Well, I mean, it taught me a good lesson of like, if you're going to do something, you do it.
Yeah, just do it.
You got to do it. And it's not just about you. It's not, And so I guess I wanted to mention that, because that led me to the decisions I later made, because I realized you got to trust your gut with the decisions you're making. Because I knew when I did that thing that I thought was right, like quote unquote right, like go to school, do like the safe thing or whatever. Yeah. That wasn't the actual correct decision for me. That might have been good for somebody else, but that wasn't what I should have been doing. And so when I started interviewing all those jobs and stuff, and like, so this is ridiculous, but after not getting all those tech startup jobs, and I realized, like, I asked myself, I said, what's going on? Like, you're not passionate about any of these jobs. So I said, what about like a company? Maybe if you find a company you're passionate about, you can work there, and then you could do whatever because you like the company. So at the time, Snapchat was like blowing up. And so I was like, well, my resume is not really anything special, right? Like if they could call it whatever, like they have like 60 employees, but I know this thing's going straight in the fucking trash. I'm like, how can I get seen by these people? So I came up with this idea. They just did the story stuff at that time. And I came up with this idea. I took their resume, like what they were looking for in a person, and I made a video resume, called it my Snapchat resume. And then I Googled like how to make a video go viral. And I studied all this shit. And then I got it to go viral on Reddit. And then I got like an interview at Snapchat.
Really?
Yeah, and I got an interview from it.
Wow.
Snapchat.
How did you make it go viral on Reddit?
This is back before money got into Reddit.
I never. So to preface this, I literally just got into Reddit probably like a month ago.
Yeah.
You know, I've had an account for years, but I just never knew how to use it. But now I'm like on there every day.
Yeah, it's dope. But it was like so much crazy. Well, not so much.
It was like forums.
It was so much crazier, dude.
It's like
It's just like a Reddit. It's just like a forum. Yeah.
Now, see, I realize it now, but like I posted something there the other day, you know, just like promoting the podcast, and like it was on like the Pittsburgh page, and they were like, moderators shut this down. It's like no self-promotion.
Pittsburgh mods, man.
All right, geez. But they they approved me.
Oh, they did?
They did. They approved.
They're in hot water with the people, man, with the Pittsburgh users.
Oh, is that right?
Well, people, they get accused of taking down like political stuff all the time. That's like, but like in sort of a biased way.
1,000,000% that they do. Yeah, just like, you know, like, I don't know. I hate the people that are just like so hardcore. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's just not fair.
Let's not over that.
Yeah, don't. I didn't even get over that. Yeah, who'd you vote for? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, right. What was I saying?
You were saying that
okay,
Snapchat.
so at the time, I found like information about the algorithm at the time on Reddit.
Yeah.
So it has a upvote system, upvotes, downvotes.
Yeah.
Right? So
what year is this?
2016, maybe 15 or 16.
Okay.
So, oh wait, no. 15 for sure. I'm pretty sure. Anyway, the amount, there was a thing in the algorithm that was like the amount of time it takes to get to 10 likes is a major factor in how fast the video will move up or down. So I found that out, and then I was in the West Coast, so I posted it on. And then like, okay, if you post something Monday or Tuesday, people are in the office all week. It has more time to circulate because every Saturday, Sunday, like views break up.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. So, putting stuff out Monday or Tuesday is always better because there's more time to go around work. I mean, maybe that might not matter as much anymore. People went there, but back then it was. So I was like, all right, Monday, 6 a.m. I'm dropping this. So I hit up my boys. I had like 9 friends on the East Coast. I'm like, yo, at 9 a.m., like I'm posting this, find it, immediately.
Yeah.
So it was in under a minute, it had 10 upvotes. And then that day, dude, I'm sitting there and the thing just is like boom, boom, like going up, 100 views, 1,000.
Video resume.
100 views, 1,000 views, 10,000 views. And I'm sitting there like
what
watching this shit go. It had 1 million in a week, but here's the thing. Here's the thing. That's when nothing had 1 million.
Yeah.
Like nothing had 1 million.
Yeah.
That was like, what, 6 years or whatever. Yeah.
That's crazy.
And it was like, it just blew up, dude. People, my phone, I was getting calls, emails. I was on all these, like, you know, these like blog and shit like that. Yeah. Oh yeah. All of those. It was in the Bloomberg or like Business Insider. I mean, like all this shit covered it. It was everything but Yahoo. Like it just didn't get on Yahoo News. Cause I think if it got on Yahoo, that would have been like possible Ellen. You know what I mean? That was like the last threshold that I needed to cross, and it didn't get there. But it could have been the biggest. Yeah, right. But yeah, it could have been as big as anything, but it didn't quite make it. Because you got to remember too, like again, this is a whole different world. Like even watching the video now isn't even that fun. It's like really not funny because it was funny because no one had done it.
Yeah.
But now it looks like a horribly, it's not even, you know, the humor's not fun. It's so trite. Like it's just silly, but.
And that ended up, so they got you an interview and.
It ended the same way. The guy's like, dude, I don't know what you want to do. Like, you don't sound like you want to edit this shit. And I was like, no. And so then when that happened, I go, all right, dude. I mean, you like, what are your options, bro? You clearly aren't working anywhere. You know, you're clearly not taking a job. So what are you going to do? I wrote down on a piece of paper, artist, musician. I had this idea for a belt company. And I said, I went back home. I was like, when I get back to LA after this weekend at home, one of these is it, and we're rolling like it's on.
Wow.
And then I just did art.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's fucking crazy.
I mean, yeah, but it was like, what were my, I didn't, it's like, that's how it went. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's just like,
I didn't have a choice.
Make it
man.
work.
I
Yeah.
didn't have
You
a choice.
manifest your destiny.
Yeah. And I'm like, that's it. That's what I'm doing.
So
And
where
if
does
it fails, I'll
fancy
get a
bread
job.
come into play?
Right.
Full circle.
Bro,
35 minutes later.
Bro, I knew in the back of my head, I'm like, he asked me a question that I'm so far from answering.
That's all right.
Okay, so fancy bread. As I'm doing the art, okay, I just start. I made my first few 5 pieces, whatever. I didn't really post them yet at that point.
Yeah.
I'm riding around delivering flowers. That was like the job I had at the moment.
That's dope.
Yeah, because I just, I had to make some scratch. So I'm thinking, where can I sell my art? How do I get it out there? And, it kind of pretty much sucks, right? Like I'm like a month into this shit.
Brandon.
But, whatever. So
Yeah, you're out here working.
yeah, I'm doing what I can. And I'm like, how can I sell them? So at Venice Beach, they have
Yeah.
all the, on the
It's insane
boardwalk.
there.
Yeah, so they have all the merchants or whatever, with the vendors.
Whatever they are out there.
It's $35 to get a pass.
Oh, that's it?
A permit. And then it's first come, first serve.
Yeah, but that's pretty reasonable.
Yeah. Oh, dude, mad reason. I mean, once you buy it, then you're good.
Yeah,
You get
there's
the
a
permit.
fucking million people
Yeah,
that
you're
walk
chilling.
through there.
Exactly. And I was like, that's the most cost-effective way to get foot traffic. Boom.
Absolutely.
So I'm like, boom. All right, to sell my stuff at Venice, I'm doing that, but I need a name. Like, I need a cool name.
Yeah.
And at the time, Willy Wonka, the original, is my favorite movie
Oh, wow.
of all time. So I had this like quirky Wonka phrases like on my iPhone, on my iTunes, whatever.
Yeah.
It's like all the cool lines from the movie. And there's this line, he says, where's
Candy is dandy, but liquor is quick.
yeah, nice, dude. Nice. He says, where is fancy bread? In the heart or in the head?
Oh, wow.
And I didn't know what the hell he was even saying at the moment, but I heard fancy bread. I'm like, yo, that's sick. Fancy bread. That's dope.
Yeah.
So I'm like, fancy bread. That's my name. So
I like that.
I'm getting ready to roll out there though. This is what's crazy. I'm getting ready to go out there and, I'm like, I better like look into this. Cause what if someone asks me and then I'm only like, I want to know more, right? Where
Yeah.
it's from. So it's actually Shakespearean and fancy. It's not fancy bread, like a loaf of bread.
Yeah.
It's fancy in sort of the idea of like affection, like, like I fancy that.
Yeah.
And then bread is BRED, not BREAD, which is, manifested.
Yeah.
So it's like, where does your affection manifest?
Oh, wow.
Your heart or your head? And here's the crazy part though. That quote, that Shakespearean line is from the play, The Merchant of Venice, which is Venice, Italy,
Holy
obviously,
fuck.
right? But
Yeah.
I was trying to get my shit out
wow.
at Venice Beach. And dude, when I saw that, I was like, it's funny. I was in this girl's
Turn
apartment.
into Jim Carrey in 23.
Bro, I went nuts. I like backed out of the chair. I'm like, yo, like I'm doing the right thing. Let's go. And
Yeah.
I probably had $2 and like, no food in the fridge and shit.
That's
I was
such a
at this,
dope
I was living
story.
at this girl's house. She was in Africa, so she let me stay at her place. And like I'm working on the back of her mirror. I like laid her full length mirror over a couch. I'm like working off it. That was my setup at the time. And then I saw that. I'm like,
That is
I'm dancing around the room. You know what I mean?
That's such a crazy story.
Yeah.
That's really, really cool.
I mean, the universe was like, you got it, dude.
Yeah,
You're on.
It's
And then,
like-
dude, that shot me so forward.
that's like all you need.
All
to
you
like,
need. All you need.
That's like going down this like scary ass like wooded path. You're like, I'm gonna die down there, and then you just see like a little puppy or something walk down. You're like, that's all right. It's gonna be all right down there.
And then, I mean, I'm a believer in the signs like that for real because
Yeah.
I've had them all my life. Like,
I agree with that.
when you do the right stuff, you get them.
100%. Like I definitely feel that. I don't know if I necessarily like. My decision on whether it's called destiny or not is muddy, but I believe in things that are supposed to happen and things that are, signs, so to speak. But that's that's fucking sick.
Crazy.
Now I'm curious about this. So if you're an artist at Venice Beach, how long did you do that?
Well, I ended up not even getting out there because I just started reading more and more about it. And there's just people who like kind of control, like it's kind of like controlled. In a way.
People that have been there all
and
whole
you're like a
time.
dickhead if you do it. So, and then I also started getting like
shanked with a
commissions.
fucking bottle.
Exactly. Yeah. And I started getting commissions too, like as I was getting ready.
Ah, cool.
And that started going. And then
How are you getting commissions though?
I think I just started putting shit online, but
okay.
I was making the stuff. I mean, I do everything out of paper.
Yeah.
So it is unique in that sense. And so a couple friends got one and it started like this. I had like one, then I had three.
What was the first piece you did?
The first commission I did was this Santa Monica Pier for my friend Kristen.
Oh,
She
that's
got
cool.
one. She still has it framed. But yeah, it was 1. Then it was like 3. Like a couple people hit me up.
So you're
and
like,
then
this
it was
is
like
happening.
5. Yeah, and then it was like 7. And I'm like,
wow.
holy shit. And then ever since, like, it just was on. It was game on. Like, it just worked.
Wow.
Obviously, I fucked up a lot along the way here. Don't get me wrong. Like, it wasn't this thing that just happened and I've been chilling for 6 years. Like,
Yeah, but it's like
I was lucky in the sense of like
you're
I
still
didn't
an
have to
artist
do the
6
other
years
stuff.
later.
Yeah, I didn't have to do like the go try to like put it out. I did do that stuff. I got into the Santa Monica Promenade, which is where all the shops are out there, like
Oh, wow.
outside and all that. I
Yeah.
had a little kiosk, bro. I sold one thing in the month I was there. One fucking thing, dude. Lost like $3,500. Didn't recover. I wanted to like. I was looking at jobs.
Yeah.
I'd say there were like 6 times, once a year probably in this journey. I've looked at LinkedIn and been like, fix up the resume, bud. It's over. Like, you know, and
That's a powerful moment though.
Yeah.
You know, for you to like kind of have a little buzz in the beginning and then you're like, bet this is going to be dope. Let's do it. And then it's like, not obviously, but you know, in hindsight, it's probably great that it happened. You know what I mean? It puts a fucking, it's like your mind and, you know, ego could be just a wild horse taking off and you're just putting a saddle on it real quick, you know, and you just got to kind of hone it in before your fucking ego gets out of whack.
Yeah. It's breaks on the downhills, you know. You gotta, when things are going good, when
Is
you're
that
picking
why
up
you
speed,
came back
you gotta
here?
chill out. Well, no, I was just broke.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude,
That's
being
what I mean.
broke in
Like,
Pittsburgh is probably way more fun than being broke in LA, you know? Because I couldn't do the one bar that I would get to out there. It was $5 Budweisers.
That's
and like
crazy.
I went there because it was $5. Like
Yeah.
the cheapest Budweiser I could get
Yeah.
was there. So like, dude, I could never take
love
girls
Bud
out.
Heavies?
Yeah, that was my go-to.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, for sure. But I like, you know what I'm saying? I couldn't take girls out.
Yeah, you didn't have no extra money to like,
None,
go
dude.
do fun
None.
shit.
The only thing I could ever do is like, yo, you want to get like wine? We'll go to the beach and just like kick it. Now
Which
it was
is
like,
still-
it was a good date,
Yeah,
but
it's
like
still
I
a
couldn't.
good
Then
date.
they'd be like, all right, what are we doing next time? I'm like, go to the beach with some wine and kick it. you can only
It's
can
like
only run
Dave
that
Chappelle
play,
and
man.
Half Baked. It's
Yeah.
like ice cream. He's like, why don't we take a taxi?
Oh yeah,
Takes that
dude,
money.
exactly like that. Dude. In the back of your head, you can't even relax because you're like, yo, if she says like I want this, it's like you got to come up with some fucking thing.
That's
So,
hilarious.
yeah.
Now, for you to come back here, like what year did you come back?
Well, I was there 2 years and then I came back.
So you were here like 2018?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. And then it's funny when you come back because some people say it's like, oh, it didn't work out, huh? And it's not like people hating on you or whatever. I'm just saying in general, like
Yeah.
some people view when people move away as if they come back, it didn't work there or something.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, that was the best thing I ever did.
Yeah.
I got away from everybody that was here, which they weren't the problem or anything. If anything, like if I had any problems, they were all mine.
Yeah, but
of
you were
my
able
own
to clear
creation.
your head in a different place.
I was able to just be whoever I wanted to be out there.
Yeah.
And then, I tried, like, I was just doing whatever. You know what I mean? Just doing shit that I'd never done before, behaving differently.
What do your parents think about this? Like that you kind of, if they're like sports and everything like that, and you are, you're becoming an artist, it sounds like your family didn't have art like running through their veins. So like, were they accepted of it?
My mom, she was devastated when I remember I called and I was like pumped that I turned Snapchat down.
Yeah.
Because I knew I didn't want to do it. I just remember she was like, she didn't say it, but I could hear it in her voice. She was just
I'm
so
not mad, I'm
bummed. Dude.
disappointed.
She was just so bummed. She didn't even say it. Like, she didn't say it,
Yeah.
But
They didn't have to,
But
though.
I remember I was like, that's when I like really was like, fuck, like, man, I might have just fucked up bad.
Back then,
But she supported me.
Was it like good bread out there to work for Snapchat?
Bro,
then?
I would have had, it was like probably 60 people at most at the company. Like, it was just good, dude.
Yeah.
Just good. I probably would have had stock. Maybe
Yeah.
even.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah.
That's all right, though.
Oh, dude, I would do it again a million times.
Yeah, I mean,
you know what I
like,
mean? I don't question it at all.
Yeah, like
It's like getting married, bro. I always say this. It's like getting married to me. A job, right? You have this thing that you're going to commit to. Like, a good job like that you don't want to do is the same thing as a trophy wife. Like, what are you getting married for? So how cool it looks to everybody else, or because you actually love the thing? Why would you do something? Why would you marry somebody that is just hot that you hate?
Yeah, exactly.
Why would you ever do that? It's the same thing as a job.
Yeah, I mean,
why would you make that commitment?
Oh, wow. I get it now.
Yeah.
At first, I was saying, at first, I thought you were saying don't get married at all. No, I was like, I'm happy, I guess.
No. I'm saying to a trophy wife. Like,
yeah, I get what you're
like
saying.
The hottest chick ever.
Yeah, but a fucking idiot that you can't have a conversation with.
Just someone you don't care about.
That's very interesting because a good job is paying you good money, but you fucking hate it. Yeah. Quality of life is nothing.
Yeah, it's cool to be like, hey, look at me.
Wow.
But what good is that? Who cares?
That's I remember seeing the Snapchat house on Venice.
That place was cool.
Because I think I seen it in 2013. And maybe it was 2015 whenever we were out there, because I remember it just started popping up, and I didn't even know what Snapchat was. But so your mom was disappointed, and what
initially, but yeah, and dude, my mom's unbelievable. She was so supportive. Even to say she was disappointed, it's probably harsh, even because she's done so much for me, and she's been the most supportive, and she taught deaf students, that's her career. And so, I mean, to have her raise
you got to have a heart of gold.
She has taught me so much along the way, and been just unbelievably supportive of me. And the same with my dad. It took a little bit, at first he's like, what the fuck you doing?
Yeah.
But then he's the same way, man. He'll he always offers, he's like, if you ever need your stuff shipped or anything,
yeah,
they always get stuff.
They're in your corner.
Dude, they are I have the best parents in the world. They couldn't be, I literally could not ask for better parents.
That's great. And it might not even be that your mother was disappointed. She might have just been apprehensive, because it's parents, if you think about it now, think about our parents, because my mother grew up in a corporate life. She was, in banking for 40 fucking years. And it's weird because, they always instilled that corporate life in me. But obviously I'm trying to fucking break out of the cage. Yeah. And they could see that. They could see that I'm rattled. Whenever I was 21, I started a fucking clothing line. This is all things that they were never really, expecting of anyone. It was always just go to school, get a good job, and be secure. So whenever your kids don't have security, you could feel uneasy, because it's just one thing that's weighing on your mind at all times. Yeah. Because my mom and dad are fucking set. They don't have to worry about a fucking thing. Right. Now, and they're good people to the point where if I was fucking up, they would be, trying to help me any way they could. So they're great people, absolutely. But it's just I think that they're happy with what I'm doing for sure, but it's just probably nice that they don't have to fork out money to provide a roof over my head.
Right, yeah.
I'm married, everything's fine, and it's just things are going well for me and my brother, thankfully, and I'm happy that that we both have parents that are. Because I talk to so many people. Some people I hear about their parents and that never support. Yeah, it's tough. It's so disappointing to hear about that, because I just don't know that life. Right. They've always just been in my corner. So you start making waves in this art world. It's can you? How do I want to say it? It's once you kind of get back here and you kind of how do you establish who you are here in Pittsburgh?
Well, I really didn't. I think that was the thing for me, was I didn't for the first couple of years I was back. Well, reintegrating with all your friends is an interesting thing, because that's all different. Things stay the same, but they change too. Yeah. It's you left, and I don't know, that I said it perfectly. Some things change, some things stay. But I really was just taking commissions. That's been the thing for the past X amount of years. I was just doing stuff that people want, which is awesome, and paid the bills. And my goal from when I started was full-time artist. This is what's going to pay the bills. This is going to pay the bills. And that became a thing in a couple of years, maybe 3 years. And 3 to 4. But all I was doing was making stuff that other people wanted. And eventually I'm that's not good for the profession.
Yeah.
There's levels to art. Let's just get that
you got to dig inside of you
there's levels to it, right? There's commercial stuff that's just cool looking things and all that.
But Matt Spar said it perfectly.
And there's fine art.
Did you listen to that episode?
Oh my God. Yeah.
He said it perfectly. He said that there was, I can't remember the words that he said, but it's there's personal pieces, and then there's, commission pieces. And it's just when you're doing a personal piece, you could tap in to something different. You know what I mean? It's you don't have a constraint of what someone else says, which is, it's a cool exercise what you're doing to be able to fulfill a want from someone in such a different way, because I'm sure you've done all different types of shit, but
so much, yeah.
For you to dig in and like do what you want to do, it's like, who the fuck knows like what's
lurking down there.
what's that's what I was trying to think of, like how to say that.
Yeah, no, I mean, trust me, there was shit lurking. I guess it's been a year now, but I basically just went in with the corona. It timed perfect with just the corona stuff. I was like, I was ready a year ago to just start making my own stuff. But then I was like, what do I want to say?
Yeah.
And I had nothing to say.
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
Well, how did you develop your style?
Cool. Sports are cool.
Can I ask that?
Because I didn't know how to do anything else.
Yeah.
I like shit to be super clean.
Yeah.
I like it. Neat lines, perfect colors, all that. And I had a drawing that I did of this bird like smoking, whatever. This is back right after college. I just did this for fun. This is like the first piece I ever made for fun.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what, I just walked around Michael's and I'm like, how could I make something for my wall that's like perfectly crispy clean? But I don't know how to paint. Like if I paint, it's going to look messy. If I do this, it's going to look messy. So I was like, oh, I could take this paper and like cut it clean.
Yeah.
It'll be perfect.
Yeah.
So I just made the first one like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
But yeah, it was just a thing of taste. And then my lack of my idiocy led to, how I did the style, because I didn't know how to do anything. So that's how
well, it's cool because it's like, that's like a starting off point. And now it's like, it's definitely more, there's definitely more into it than just like just a cutout of some paper. It's like your shit's definitely cool. And it's cool how you're putting everything together in steps for people to like see it, because someone like me, like I obviously can only speak for me. It's like I love seeing these finished products from everyone. I love it. In my old spot, I had like whole walls covered with art. I haven't got to hang anything up yet, but it's like I want to see how it's done. I want to see why it's done. My tattoo artist, the whole time I'm just like, if he's sitting there tattooing me for 7 hours, like I'm literally watching every single thing he does, because I'm just like so curious on how things are done. How is it shaded this way? Like, how are you putting color in that way? And I've never been someone who's so artistic. Like I've never been able to draw anything, but it's like I have a fucking black book full of just like insane shit in my head. And I always have to find someone to communicate what I'm trying to think, and for them to be able to put it on paper. And it's like always been such like a hard thing, but I literally am not physically talented at all, as far as, artistically talented at all. Yeah. I guess I'm not physically talented either, but it's just like, it's interesting to kind of like think about that as someone who like, how do you develop a style of artwork that you could refine, that you're not necessarily, you can't paint a self-portrait from oils, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Some people are just wild like that, but it's cool how like, was your art back then, similar style that it is now?
Yeah, just so much simpler. Yeah. The process too changed a ton. The first stuff out of paper I made, I would sketch it on something the size of the final piece, and then I would cut I would basically make a stencil out of it. Yeah. So say it was like a skyline, I would cut the sky out, then I would trace the sky, or like trace around everything, and then cut that out on blue paper. Yeah. Put it down, but like, eventually you just cut up your whole stencil and you don't have the original anymore. Yeah. And it's like impossible to continue, like you can only take that so far. Yeah. Then I came up with also too, you can't just use the drawing, the original sketch, and put paper over it, because the first piece you put down covers the damn sketch. Yeah. So I was like doing that, and I'm like, there's got to be a better way. So then I came up with using a projector. So I'd take a picture of the sketch, get a projector, shoot it on the wall onto like the canvas I was going to work on, and then work like that, hold up a piece of paper, trace that, cut it out, paste it down. And I had to work like in the dark all the time, because I needed the projector. So that worked out for a long time. And then I finally came up with the, I guess I just took the leap of like doing it without one. Yeah. And then I got like a paper cutter. So then I did everything digitally, and like everything comes out.
Like a plotter?
I basically make a Lego set of the pieces. Yeah. And then I have the thing on the computer, and I look off it like as if it were instructions, and I assemble everything.
Wow.
Yeah. So I take the image, make a Lego set out of it,
Yeah, you
put
kind
it
of like
together.
reverse engineer all of it all.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's interesting to, it's cool to hear how it's like, because obviously over time, if you're doing things for years, like I do this podcast for years, it's like over time I fine tune it.
You hone it. Yeah.
You hone in on it. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, it's just cool to hear how everyone like figures it out along the way. It's like, do you have inspirations that you get from? Like what kind of shit do you like?
Oh, in terms of how stuff looks?
Yeah, like are you a fan of like the Banksy stuff? Like are you a fan of like other stuff?
I like the ideas. I think Banksy's pretty cool actually. I know it's like cool to hate him.
Yeah, I get it. I get it.
I don't think that. I think he's pretty cool. I do think the mysterious thing is pretty cool too.
I love that like about it.
But I also, some of me is like, I like the artist to know the artist as well. Because I think that gives it some, I don't know. I see both sides.
Yeah, I definitely
I don't really have a hardline opinion on that, but I do like the mysterious stuff a bit. Other artists, Damien Hirsch is a guy I really like. He's kind of he does like installation stuff. He does all kind of stuff, but he has some cool ideas. It's crazy also my appreciation for art too. Like art isn't something I grew up with at all. And then like I would go to the gallery or something just for, I don't even know why I would be there, but I would look at stuff. Yeah. And I'd be like, why is that so cool or valuable? But now that if you read all the things, like if you read all the description and you try to understand what the artist is doing, and then you also look at the art and say, how did this guy make this? And you look closely at where the brushstrokes start and where they end and how he could have done this with what material. And you really think about it. This shit is awesome.
Yeah, it's super cool.
Awesome.
The first time I ever went to, I never claimed to be something I'm not, and I was never someone who I was a person on a field trip that would just like be on a field trip. I wasn't there to look at what it was. I never gave a fuck what it was, but now I'm just like so interested because like the idea of time and like how people did things, 1,000 years ago, hundreds of years ago, you know what I mean? Like I went to go see the Mummy exhibit and it's like, before I would have never gave a fuck about that stuff. But now it's like, I could not, I was blown away by just like seeing like how old some things are and like how things are done. But it's so cool to like, I don't know, in our later years, it's just like I find myself so much more inquisitive about like such like broad things. And I don't know, I like, but full circle, I went to the pillow or the mattress factory and it's like there was just a room with like mirrors and then, polka dots on the ground.
Yeah.
And it's like, why the fuck is this, such like a cool thing? And then it's like, now I look at it and it's like someone just did it. Like someone did it. And that's what's like cool about it. They were like, like this is something that I want to see. I put it down here and that's cool.
Yeah. It came from somewhere.
Yeah. It just came from somewhere. And it's like, and then you start to think about like, why did it come from somewhere? Like, how did this dude think about like putting all these metallic fucking balloons in this room? And like, why is that so cool? And then you're like, this is fucking cool. Like makes no sense, but it's fucking cool to think about that someone wanted to do it. But I might not necessarily understand it, but I respect it.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, sometimes you wonder what the hell this stuff is.
Yeah.
But, and again, listen, not all of it's that cool.
Right?
Yeah,
not all of it does.
But
that cool.
Exactly like you said, the reason you can always appreciate it in some way.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Now, for you to become a full-time artist, like how do you approach it as far as like what's your mindset as far as like, you were talking about how you were doing commission pieces for so long and now you want to do your own. So like, are you ever like apprehensive about like doing yourself or doing your own stuff that you're like, oh, I don't know if people are going to like this stuff. If people want like a picture of fucking, obviously Mac Miller is probably your choice, but it's like, if people want a picture of Mac Miller, like, yeah, you can get into that, but you don't really get to make your own decisions. Do you have like apprehensions about like, just being vulnerable and just doing whatever the fuck you want?
I think that stuff only comes from people who aren't acting completely in alignment with how they truly feel.
Yeah.
Right. So before I did, and I was like, is this going to be cool? Are people going to like, as I was figuring out what I wanted to say.
Yeah.
But then once I discovered what I wanted to say, it's like, I don't give a fuck.
If you like it, yeah. If people don't
Who
listen,
likes it, dude?
Yeah.
I don't care if no one ever bought another thing the rest of my life.
Yeah.
I'm saying this. That's what I think.
I like that because, I think about that, with this, like, I feel like anyone who's like, authentic, I feel like the word authentic is such an overused, exhausted word because everyone's, I'm authentic, I'm original, you know what I mean? But I'm my most authentic self on here. One, because it would be too exhausting to put on an alter ego. Mark Twain said, you never have to remember anything if you tell the truth. That's like the most amazing thing you could ever think of.
Yeah.
Because I was someone back in the day that would just punch shit up and like just make it like a sensationalist. Like, I just wanted to embellish things to I wanted people to like me.
Yeah.
And now it's to the point where it's just like, fuck you. I just don't care. It's like, I don't have time to do it. And it makes it so much more rewarding because, some people, I remember some kid asked me, I did an interview one time and he was like, how do you pick the people that you want on here? And I was telling Nick and Skater Rob, I was like, it's very selfish. You know what I mean? I only talk to people that I feel like I could, get interested in what they're doing. I often use video games as as an example of like why I haven't really had anyone that like has done anything like that on here. It's just like, I don't give a fuck about video games. So I feel the conversation will not be like, genuine or authentic, you know what I mean? And I feel like it's so important because like, I know that this is 100% myself, my heart and soul. And for people to enjoy it and to see it catching on and like becoming what it is, it moves me, it makes me feel so good. And I feel like that anyone who does any sort of tangible thing that other people, I guess it doesn't even need to be tangible, yeah, but something for other people to consume in some way, whether it be a piece of yours hanging on a wall or like people listening to this, it's so much more rewarding to know that like you're being real and people like what you do.
No, I mean, you couldn't be more spot on with it. But here's the thing. I think you get to that point through a process.
Absolutely.
Like you were saying, when you first started, you wanted everyone to like it and stuff. That's what I think that happens to 99% of people because it's just that's the thing. You're taking the leap and you're like,
yeah,
you think that matters.
See,
then you understand later that it really doesn't.
But my theory is that it does matter in the beginning because if you do something in the beginning and it's trash and you're not like, faking it till you make it, people aren't going to like grab onto it then. So if you're just like, doing whatever and it's not something that people could latch onto, they're going to brush it by because that first one, they're going to be like, eh. Right.
But I will say this. I think the difference early on is if it, let's not exhaust the word again, but authentic. If people see you doing something that you genuinely like, and even if it kind of sucks, but they can tell you're doing it because you like doing it, they'll support you.
I agree with that.
But here's the thing. If it sucks and they know you're just like trying to be somebody that you're not, it's going to fall flat every single time.
I agree with that. But it's also like, I get in my head so much about things and like I think about things so like deeply, as I'm sure like a lot of the other people do. But it's like whenever I started this, I'm like, what could I do in the beginning to, what's the right word? To just like reaffirm what I'm trying to do with this. That's why like I was shooting for like the bigger name people in the beginning because it's like if people just like brush over that in the beginning, they're like, oh, this person's doing this, it must be something to even look at. I don't need people to necessarily need to jump on that. I just need people to be willing to just give me a shot. And once that they do that, I rely on the hard work that I put into this and like the quality of the product to keep them in. And it's like, I just hope that, I don't know, it's like there's so many different routes that you could get to where you want to go with it, and one is not better than the other, but like it's so interesting because everyone's is different, and that's like another reason that I do the podcast is like I want to hear everyone's stories and why they're doing this, and like how they did this and like what was that thing that helped you out that might have, you know, that someone else might have not thought about. And I just apply it to my life.
I was gonna say you probably get a lot of good insight.
Fucking, it's a cheat
At least
sheet.
one. Yeah, I was gonna say one gem every time.
Yeah.
You got 170 gems.
Yeah, dude. It's like
You know?
you're gonna be like 165,
Right, yeah.
165th gem.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's like,
You got a sack.
yeah, it's just like I'm stacking it up.
Right.
You know what I mean? But it's interesting to think about, like, you know, being an adult now. Like I was talking to Nick and Rob about it. It's like being 30. I'm more in touch with like mortality and how we were talking about, like, you know, our age getting up. And it's like I'm not necessarily worried about it. I'm more particular about like what I want to do with my life. It might be selfish. It's like I don't want to waste my time on anyone or anything that I'm not interested in. Do you feel that way as an artist?
100%.
Because
I mean,
it's like,
everything I do is pretty much like that.
yeah, selfish. It's just like I'm not going to waste my time with that.
Yeah, I mean, well, there's not enough time in a day.
Yeah.
I mean, I was thinking the other day, I'm like, if I could have 60 hours, like I would live a gazillion lives over and over. Like I wish days were.
I know.
I wish there was no night. I just wish it was all day.
And you could function and
I
not
wish I
die.
didn't sleep. I just wish I was up all day.
Are you like the stereotypical artist where you'll be like, you know, nocturnal and like working all through the
That's
night?
bad. I don't agree with that. I mean, listen, it works for some people, whatever. But up early's the real deal.
Even on the weekends, I'm up by 6 a.m. out on that porch, just looking at birds. Mm-hmm. Even if I'm not doing nothing, I'm
Getting
just
up is
breathing.
it's boss shit.
It's like
That's what you got to do, man.
I still have a couple of friends that will sleep until like 11.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, oh, it's their whole fucking day.
Yeah, I mean, trust me, I used to do that.
Yeah.
I've done pretty much the whole spectrum.
I get it.
Yeah, I used to work at night when I was in LA and stuff. But then you're like not integrated with society at all.
Yeah. It's like, what do you do?
Kind of sucks. And then you wake up so late. I mean,
Day's gone.
yeah,
Now,
getting up early is a shit.
What's like an everyday thing for you? Because we're going to get to this whole like, you know, fucking ridiculous thing you're doing.
Yeah.
But, you know, like what is an everyday for you now? You're a full-time artist, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, what do you do?
I got a nice morning routine. So I'm a disciple of discipline, I would say. I believe.
Hold on.
I do what I hate to do, but I do it like I love it. And that's discipline. Without discipline, you're nothing. Because without discipline, the slightest struggle you give in.
Beautiful. Right on cue, bro.
Bro, I put it on the board just because like that question, or I mean that quote right there, and I swear to God this is true. Told Nick this as well. When you and him were talking about how you guys started to do like the 100 sit-ups, 100 push-ups that day, and then that day I also saw this on Twitter. I've been lifting every day ever since.
Oh,
I've
hell
been
yeah,
just out
dude.
there just getting it a little bit. And
Nice.
like I have this on here because it's like usually everyone that I talk to has been dedicated in their practice to get to where they are. And it just is, you know, that's a nice one. Sitting down there.
Customata, that's his trainer. It has like the same thing.
Customata, he's
that's
the fucking man.
The professional shows up. It doesn't matter how they feel. They do it.
It's amazing. It's amazing. Disciple of discipline. So tell me about that. How did you become that?
We need to talk about you getting after it too, because I like talking about the workout stuff.
Oh, I've been getting.
Yeah, let's hit that quick.
So
what have you been up to?
Now let me. I like I said, very transparent about this. Was overweight my entire life. 2010. My buddy is a fitness freak. I've never met anyone that's like been more in tune for as long as he has been. Started lifting whenever he was in like 6th grade by himself, like very active on message boards. He's the reason that I'm doing this podcast. Got me under Rogan back in like, you know, whenever he was in 50 episodes.
Yeah.
And me and him have just like kind of came up on that. But back then I was just not doing nothing except going to PTI. So I had all day. I would wake up at 7 a.m. We would go fucking kill workout. I ended up losing 75 pounds.
Damn.
Dude, I was fucking ripped up. I was. It was the best shape I've ever been in my life. Got a real job. All went like back to shit. You know, 60 pounds probably back on. And it's just like, you know, I started living, air quotes. I started living,
Yeah.
had a good job in air quotes. And I was just driving, commuting 3 hours a day.
Oh, well, that's crazy.
Bro, I wanted to die.
Yeah.
Worst time of my life, but obviously sitting at a desk. And then I would just be on and off of just like, going to the gym for a month heavy, going to the gym like before my wedding, 6 months, just, losing some weight. And then, for probably like all pandemic, like you couldn't go to the gym. I was at the gym 2 months before pandemic happened, and then it all shut down. And like I have nothing at my house. I fucking ain't running. I ain't running at all.
Yeah.
So I was just baking bread like a fucking fat French baker and just little sourdough bread the whole time.
Yeah.
So it's just packing on. And then we end up moving here, and I ended up getting a dog. And, in this time I've been like sporadic, but my buddy Yoga Ralph, he is, I often refer to him and Matt Christie of Streets on Carson are of like my two biggest motivators. And he got me into doing hot yoga. Same deal. Big fat ass dude, lost all this weight, changed his life. So I had these people that like were close to me that I could see have done it. And, I've always been terrible with discipline. That's what it is. Eating, not working out. But for the past like probably, 2-3 weeks now, I've just been killing it. I got a 32-pound kettlebell. I have two 25-pound dumbbells, two 15-pound dumbbells, and battle ropes. Not much, but I get it cracking.
You don't need anything. I mean, that's good.
Cracking.
That's good, dude. You talked to neighbor Nick about the kettlebell exercises?
No.
That's his like jam. He hits those kettlebells.
Kettlebells?
Yeah.
That was my jam back in too. It's like I was one of them Rogan cult followers. It's all on it.
I mean, dude, they're good.
I got a primal bell.
It's all good though. That's the thing. It's
all
good.
great shit, but you pay for what you're getting.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm out there and I'll do a circuit, and I've just been doing that. Like I started out at 3 times, and then I'll work it up to 5 times, doing ropes inside of it. But that time that I was losing all that weight was the HIIT training, like the high intense interval training.
Yeah, that sounds good.
That's the only thing that like gets me excited is like, doing weird shit, pulling sleds, like ropes, like all that stuff. Like I want to be competitive while I'm lifting, and kind of be able to like do that.
It's the same thing with school, man.
Yeah.
It's like if you find the stuff that you like to do, then it's fun to do.
Yeah.
You don't
Still
have to
sucks,
do shit.
But it's fun.
Yeah, it sucks. It sucks, but you want that suck is the good suck.
Yeah, the good
You don't
suck.
want like the overall suck.
And that's what like, and it's also been accredited to like, a couple of the guests that I had on. The one kid, Patrick D'Avinoy, he hiked the whole Appalachian Trail, and it was just like crazy to hear about that. Dude he started hiking like 2 years beforehand. He the first time he ever camped out overnight hiking was whenever he did the Appalachian Trail. Just dude said, fuck it, and just sent it.
Yeah.
Did it, and now he's on the Pacific Crest just hiking through deserts.
Yeah.
And then I just talked to Will
Farmer.
Yeah, Will Lovner. Like that dude is a fucking animal.
Wild, man.
And it's just like, once he left, I was like, I'm getting out there and I'm going to lift because this fucking kid just biked 32 hours and just like didn't even sleep.
Yeah, that was something, man.
Bro, 32 hours. Like imagine being 5 hours in and be like, 26 left.
Crazy.
It's like I fucking die. But that's what I've been getting into.
That's
it's
good.
like people around me have been motivating me.
Hell yeah.
And you guys talking about how yins were talking shit on the people like just did all these squats. Like fuck you, better.
We did nothing. We worked out for like 15 minutes.
But I love that.
Like,
It gets me going. So I just like got into
It's
it
good.
like that.
That's what I've been telling everybody. Anybody who's been asking me about getting in shape and stuff like that, I just say, look, do 100 push-ups, 100 squats, 100 sit-ups every day for a month.
Yeah.
Don't even worry how
About
well
anything
you
else.
do them.
Yeah.
Like this is not an exercise in strength or getting in shape. You're probably not going to look any different at all. The point is you do not go to bed if they're not done. If it's 11:30 and you want to go, you do them. Like the whole thing is to strengthen your discipline. That's all the problem you have is discipline. That's every single problem you have. You don't have a
Everything in
drinking
life.
problem. You don't have a smoking problem.
Yep.
You don't have a eating problem. You got a discipline problem.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Are you like a subscriber to like David Goggins and all them?
I listen to basically everybody saying some positive shit on the internet.
Yeah.
But Goggins, I have like a little crew that I run with. We did that 4x4x48.
Yeah, what was that?
It's 4 miles every 4 hours for 48 hours.
Jesus.
So you end up, it's like, I think it started at 11 on Friday night, ran at 11, then 3 a.m., 7 a.m., 11, 37
it's like,
for like 2 days. It sucked too. The weather was like, I was like 22 or something for like this 9 a.m. or like 7 a.m. run. And I was just like, fuck.
Now, I mean, for you to, so like, what are you doing? Like, what is the end? Like, what is the tally of the things that will be done? Do you have a name for it?
As far as my physical challenge here?
Yeah, physical challenge. Physical challenge.
It's time for a physical challenge.
What was that from? Double Dare?
Double Dare. Yeah. Why would you not take the physical challenge? I always want.
I know. I don't want a fucking trivia.
Right,
Shoot me with a fucking tennis ball gun like gladiators.
Right. So I was training for an Ironman.
Yeah.
And then it got moved.
So Ironman is a marathon, 27 miles?
Yeah. So it's a triathlon. It starts 2.4 mile swim, 112 mile bike, and 26.2 mile run, which is a marathon.
How long does it usually take, like an average person?
It varies quite a bit because it depends what course you're doing.
Yeah.
If you take a completely flat course, I bet the average time would it be like 10 hours or something.
Oh, really?
But if you like the hardest one, the one that I was actually going to do, it was in Lanzarote, Spain. It's the hardest one, and the average time's 14 and a half. Wow. So like that's how much it could vary.
Yeah.
And like a wind conditions is like a massive thing.
Yeah.
You know, if you're going into a 20 mile an hour headwind,
that's
the bike ride, you're riding probably an hour.
Yeah.
You know, like a lot. So all the conditions, like who knows, you know, but I'm doing that. So I was supposed to go to Spain, but that got all screwed up. So I decided to just do it here. And then I'm like, well, it's not really that fun. Like I've worked out for 16 weeks for this thing.
Yeah.
I'm like, that sounds so lame to just like go in circles around the neighborhood, you know, and run all this shit and bike all these miles. So I was like, I'm going to do something crazy. I'm going here to Erie. And it's the exact distance of an Ironman.
Wow.
So I live in the South Side on 21st on this Saturday. Well, this will, a couple of days from now when this airs. Saturday morning at 6 a.m. Time starts, me in my bed in my wetsuit. I'm going to jog down to the Monongahela River, jump in, swim to the Heinz Field.
Past the dead bodies.
Yeah, past all the debris, junk, dead bodies.
That's a shame. I shouldn't have said that.
Dude, it's nasty in there, man.
I know.
You can't see. I did
the polar plunge in there and I felt disgusting because a big gulp of water went in.
Oh, yeah. I got to really try my best not to swallow water, but I put my head in there the other day first time I went there.
Just stick
with my goggles, and you can't see your hand in front of your face. At all. So it's like blind swimming.
Yeah.
Neighbor Nick and my buddy Andy Feathers will have a canoe next to me.
Sidebar, Andy Feathers' voice is my favorite of all time.
He's unbelievable.
He sounds like a character. He is a character.
He's probably the coolest person in the world.
I remind him of almost like, he almost reminds me of like Hobbes from like Calvin and Hobbes, like that type of voice.
He's unbelievable cat. But yeah, I'm lucky to have them with me because they're going to spot me down the river.
So you're running down to the Mon. And
that's just like a half mile, but not even a quarter mile. That's negligible. I'm just jogging down there, jumping in the water. North Shore, next to Heinz Field by the Mr. Rogers statue. You can like get out there. There's like a kayak load in, whatever. Hopping on the biking. The route I went.
So wait, you're swimming in the Mon, right?
Yeah, down the Mon.
And just back, like doing like laps basically?
No, down the Mon. So I'm going from like the Birmingham Bridge down the Mon, 2.4 miles down past the point, like across Allegheny, and where like they meet obviously at the point to Heinz Field. Then I'm getting out there, hopping on my bicycle, going. It's like 51, takes you to like Monaco, Aliquippa, Beaver Falls, up to Newcastle, eventually up to Mercer where it hits 19.
Is this a lot of road? Is this just road biking?
Yeah, I got a road bike. I'm gonna.
But you're gonna be on the road, the main road, biking this,
like on the side.
Yeah,
because I don't have a closed course. You know what I mean? Like you do an Ironman.
Well, I didn't know if there was like any sort of like trail way it goes.
They have a trail that's like 60% done, but that's also on gravel, so my time would be it would take even longer. I'm thinking it's going to take 8 hours, but I'm going to get to Venango, which is basically just short of Edinburgh.
Okay.
And then I'm going to run the marathon from there, jump in Lake Erie to end it. That's like the finish line, jumping in the lake.
Jeez.
Here to Erie.
And what's the official date that you're doing
Saturday.
Saturday the what?
22nd.
Saturday the 22nd is when you're doing it. Wow.
And I'm doing it, I should plug it now, to raise money. So I've been, as I was training and all that, I wanted to do it for charity because I'm like, I got to make something cool, positive out of this negative that I didn't get to go do a cool thing.
Yeah.
So I made a GoFundMe and I'm raising money for a lot of the different local cleanup efforts. You know, there's like a handful of them. So I'm going to like just divvy up the money and give it to the people cleaning up the town. Because as I was working out and stuff, I was all over.
Yeah.
It's like we could use a little cleaning up around here. And me and neighbor Nick, we do this thing called the Pittsburgh Street Stewards.
Yeah.
You just like adopt your block and pick up trash. So we do that like once a week. And so
That's
it's
dope.
like something it's cool. It's like the easiest thing. We just go out bullshit for 20 minutes with his dog. Like,
Yeah.
you know, we like walk around, pick up trash. People were like, hey, appreciate you guys. Like, it's like a fun thing. You get to see the neighbors and everybody's chit chatting. And
that's awesome.
dude, you pick up, takes 20 minutes a week. And like, you know, if everybody did that, the place would be pretty fucking clean.
Yeah, you're right.
You know?
Wow.
It's not like a superhero.
So how long do you think that this is all going to take you?
13 hours would be dope, but we'll see.
13 hours would be dope. Now,
We'll see.
I mean, do you have plans on like, you know, what do you plan on eating while this is going on?
Yeah, that's basically how this whole thing works. Like, I don't know much about this stuff. I did my first marathon in November.
Yeah.
And then I just escalated from there because I'm like, what can I do I'm here. Like, I might as well try to do some more shit. But you kind of just turn your body into a machine that's capable. You have to beat your body up enough to take that kind of, you know, just punishment from that much working out.
Yeah.
But you just fuel it at the proper pace. So it's like 60 grams of carbs an hour, roughly 60 to 80. There's like a set amount of water.
You're going to be pretty precise about it?
Yeah. I mean, so I've been practicing that stuff too. But here's the thing. It's like I bought a plan from Ironman.com. I got a plan. This guy, he coaches professional Ironmen. Yeah. And it was an expert level plan, whatever. Cause like, obviously I'm going to go for that if I'm doing this whole thing. I'm like, fuck, I'm doing it the real way. And, but it has all the information. Like all I have to do is show the fuck up, read the damn thing
and do it.
And then, I mean, it's like 16 hours a week of working out, but it's a lot, but like the plan is there.
Yeah.
You know, it's like,
and if you do all these things, it should work.
It'll work. Yeah. So it's like, I'm not even worried. I mean, the Mon is a little sus.
The reason I ask you that though is, about like food is like, it's always so interesting to me. Like I talked to that, Pat who is doing the Appalachian Trail, like what he ate. And he was such an advocate on how, cause you know, there's two types of people on the Appalachian Trail. There's people that just want to do it in the most cost effective manner.
Oh, for sure.
And actually there's three types of people: cost effective manner, people that want to do it the quickest, and the people that are just enjoying their time. But he said that he is, you know, no one that he has came across has, you know, everyone on the AT has like a little nickname, and they called him Whole Foods because like he was eating good food, like rather than just like ramen and freeze dried shit. He was like adamant about eating, like he was eating like blocks of cheese, like good cheese, like all this like fruit, vegetables, avocados, like nut butters and everything. So, you know, usually people were like, you know, trying to skimp to save money, but like, and I asked him, I said, how much did you lose, you know, doing the 7 months of the Appalachian Trail? He said nothing, because he's just eating, replenishing his body back. And he said that he had no injuries at all. Yeah. And he thinks that was like a big reason why, is because like he was taking care of his body. Because if you're just feeding your fucking machine, so to speak, ramen, you're gonna fucking blow a gasket. But then again, my cousin, he biked across the country from here, literally in White Oak, to California, just biked across there, and he was trying to do it in $10 a day. So what he was doing is going to like Family Dollar and shit like that, and like gas stations, and eating gas station hot dogs. And, you know, he was going and buying like the discounted, you know, boxes of Snickers that like were off by a day. Yeah. And he was telling me that he would just be summiting these mountains, just shoving Snickers bars in his mouth. And again,
at some point that had to just backfire, right?
Well, no.
He made it like that?
Fuck yeah.
What a
I mean, he had to scale his cost up, but he was just eating pretty much just trail mix, like nothing like super
he's probably
good.
burning so many calories.
Oh,
really
exactly. And that's why I was going to say the goat wrangler, he was talking about, oh yeah, I eat Snickers bar, candy bars,
but said he eats whatever.
Then he just gets sick of it. Yeah. But it's interesting to think like how people are going to like, you know, fuel their body. But like, you know, with the blessings of, you know, the technology in the world, you got fucking drinks that are basically like eating a meal. Yeah. You know, all that weird shit.
Yeah. They even, interestingly, Coke is something at Ironman, at like the aid stations, they have Coke because like it's sugar.
Yeah.
And then there's also like salt tabs if you've been sweating too much. You have to replenish some salt. I have like a shit ton of the gels. There's like gel
Power
packets,
gels and everything.
amino acids. Like it's essentially, stuff you don't have to digest.
Just makes me think of Dwight from The Office whenever he takes that gel pack, squeezes it as well.
I'm not an office guy.
Come on.
I don't watch,
get out.
bro. I don't watch anything.
Come on.
I could not have a TV. And that would not be a problem whatsoever.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to hear the Desert Island questions, but that's later. So for you to do this, what's the best way for people to like find the donation, like to where they can
it'll all
donate?
be link in the bio. I have the GoFundMe there, and then
At
on
Fancy
Instagram
Bread.
at fancybread, and then I'll be like Andy and Nick will be helping me like live. I'm not gonna live stream the 13-hour event, but
that
I'm
would be
gonna like
dope, though.
pop on. I'm gonna pop on throughout and just give updates. Like, here I am. Here's how I'm.
Are they
feeling.
both going to be just like riding like Dumb and Dumber on his scooter?
Yeah, I wish.
That would be the funniest.
I told him like, do whatever you want. Like, there's a course that I'm like, literally a golf course that I'm going to be passing at some point. It's like I only need them every so many hours to like fill my water up and shit. So it's like, the only thing they have to actively be supporting me on is going down the river.
Yeah.
But other than that, they're chilling.
What are your thoughts about like as far as like maintenance problems? Riding your bike.
Yeah,
that
they'll
far?
have some stuff. I mean, I'll have a tube and maybe like a CO2 thing under the seat, under the saddle.
You got a nice bike?
I got it on Craigslist last year actually. And then I had to put I brought it, I don't know shit about it. Right.
Yeah.
So I buy this thing and then I bring it to the bike shop and the guy's like, how much do you pay for this? I tell him, he's like, all right, like, thank God, because this needs like this looks like somebody took a bike frame in their basement and just threw everything they had on
Frankenstein
it.
bike.
Yeah. And then I ended up having to put like $500 more in it, but now it's like,
solid.
The fucking ride's great. So
I did the same thing, like pandemic buy. I got them Donnie dollars and I was like, I'm buying a bike.
Right.
So I found this bike on Craigslist, went and bought it. I have no idea. I haven't ridden a bike probably since I was 10 years old.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck it, I'm buying this. It was like $650. And I was like, all right, bet. Like, it's a good bike. It's a Surly,
Yeah.
I went and took it to thick to I was just like, oh, I want you to like, just go over it.
yeah, tune it up, whatever.
I gave it there, and the dude's just like calling people over, and they're like pointing at it. And I'm like, oh
shit.
So the dude calls me over. He goes, yo, dude, I'm sorry, but I have to tell you that you need a lot to like make this get where it needs to be. Long story short, I hit the dude back up on Craigslist and I was like, yeah, man, do you have any of the old stock parts that I could have? Because there's a lot of shit fucked up. Dude was super cool, was like, come on over, I'll give you your money back. He was like, I don't want to sell you anything broken, dude.
Damn.
He ended up being super cool, helping me out and like explaining things to me. But and then I bought a nice bike.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Nice.
but like boys are out here, they could have been getting me.
Oh, dude. I mean, I think I got a little bit, but at the same time, I didn't have any more money.
Yeah.
So like, it actually worked out perfect. It was like a 2-part purchase,
It's interesting that that you're doing like these. It's 3 things. Like, are you a swimmer often?
No, hell no, man.
Yeah.
I went to the YMCA. I had no idea what I was doing. I mean, I always could swim good as a kid,
but you
that
didn't know
isn't
your form or
swimming, dude.
anything.
Yeah, that's like if you hoop every once in a while, you know how to shoot a basketball,
Yeah.
but that doesn't mean someone taught you and you could hoop in college, So I'm like, I go there, I'm not sure what I'm doing. Every lifeguard that was working, I would just be like, hey, I literally have no idea what I'm doing. Do you mind, like, if you see me doing something really egregious, just like tell me and I can fix it. Well, then it ended up this one, shout out, Cher is her name. She helped, she's like swam at, I think, like Boston College or something. I might have the wrong school, but she swims.
Yeah.
And she just has helped me for the past 4 months, just teaching me how to swim. She's like, you're doing this, you're doing this, you're doing this.
That's super
and
cool.
now I can swim. And then like the other day, she's like, you know what, you actually look like you know what you're doing out there. And I'm like, hell yeah. And she's like, now all you have to do is start wearing your swim caps straight and not sideways. I was like, what, you fucking kidding me? Like, you didn't tell me, dude. I was wearing like the part that's supposed to go over your ears was on my forehead, dude. And I'm like walking around like that, like I'm Joe Cool at the fucking pool.
Now, for you being a beginner in this, could you tell a difference if you were not wearing a swim cap or anything?
I don't even really know. I think that just helps with like.
Are you gonna like shave your body and stuff?
No.
Okay,
I'm wearing a wetsuit in the
makes sense.
Yeah. But no, so you do like the swim test for like the training plan has you do tests throughout just to like see how things are going.
Yeah.
And my 400 meter, which I guess would be like a lap around a track.
Yeah.
Right. that distance, I was doing that at like 8:20 when I
No big
started.
deal.
When I started, I got that to 5:50
Oh wow.
by the end of the 4 months.
And you could, like, feel
that's-
yourself
that
building up?
percentage of that is massive
Yeah.
difference. You know what I mean?
Do you could feel the confidence of yourself?
Oh, yeah.
building up? Have you
I mean,
swam
it's
in the
insane.
Mon at all?
I did yesterday for the first time.
Oh my goodness.
And that's when I like shit my pants, dude.
Now, I thought whenever
I
you
shit
said
my
you just
pants.
put your head in there, I thought you were
No,
saying
I went in and I thought put my head in.
I literally thought you like went over to the side of the point and just dunked your head down.
No. I mean, I almost wish I would have just done that. But like, I got in, and then I was like, I put, I'm like going to look like, oh, how muddy is this? How murky is this?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like you put
Yeah,
your head in a
it's like
cup of
chocolate
coffee.
milk.
Yeah, you might. I mean, you can't see anything.
Now, are you worried about this at all? Because like, what happens if barges are coming down? What happen? You ever see the Peanut Butter Falcon?
No.
Oh man, Peanut Butter Falcon.
Peanut Butter Falcon?
That's with Shia LaBeouf, and it's like one of the most heartfelt movies. Very good. Besides the point though, but they're swimming and the big ass fucking ship comes down.
Oh well, yeah. I mean, I'm a little worried about that.
Do you have to like tell anyone that you're doing this?
I mean, I'm going to try to tell everybody so that I can raise more money. So I'm
know, but
hoping that.
you know what I mean. Like, do you got to tell like
I don't think so.
Okay, I was.
So
curious
here's the
about
only
that.
thing. No, here's the only thing I know for sure. So the sewage overflows into that river.
Oh yeah, it does.
But there's alerts. This like Alcosan is the authority. So like they send out text alerts. So
There's
good.
only a little bit of shit today. If you want to jump in, you're safe.
That's basically what it says. It's not today, bro.
Yeah,
It's like
not
that.
today.
But that's the only thing I had to worry about. Then like the current obviously is a thing, but
Yeah.
it hasn't been raining.
What's
so
like
that's
the
fine.
temperature of the water?
Dude, right now it's like 60.
Oh, is it?
It's cold.
Yeah. You ever
So
do the
it's
polar plunge?
sweatsuit. So no. What does it get down for that? Like basically.
I think it was like 34, 35, 36 last
You did
year.
that?
Yeah.
Oh man.
It was dope.
Do you like that cold water shit? Like cold shower stuff?
Like Wim Hof
for
is
men-
dope.
yeah, okay.
Wim Hof is
Stuff,
dope.
yeah.
I love him. I'll take cold showers, but
Yeah.
like no one wants to jump in the fucking dirty ass Mon. If it was a cold pool, I'd be dipping in there all day.
Right.
But like Mike Posner's like in like a glacier that you could see like hundreds of feet away in ice.
Right.
The Mon, there's literally dead people in there all day getting pulled out.
Yeah,
and it's
that's
just
sad.
like it's gross. Dead animals. I saw this dude at the Mon
Trash.
dragging this whole fucking. It was just like a big ass like rope with magnets and like a hook on the end, and he was just like throwing it in the water before everyone's jumping in. And I'm like, "What are you doing?" He was like, "Oh, you got to get everything out of here because if you jump, there could be trees, broken
Yeah.
shit in there." And I'm
Yeah.
like, "Oh god."
Right, I know.
I was terrified.
Everybody's worried for me, but it's one of those things. It's like I said I was going to do it.
So you got to do it.
Yeah,
What's-
it doesn't matter how shitty it is.
Yeah,
I'm
but-
going to do it, and I'm going to be fine.
That's not the question,
and I
though.
prepared as much as possible.
What is your preparations? Like, what happens if you get caught on something? Like, do you have any sort of
Yeah,
like?
they'll have this thing. Actually, don't know why I can't think of the name of it, but it's essentially like a rope they throw me. It's designed for that,
Yeah.
so that I can. It's like it's inflatable.
Okay.
I grab it,
And
they'll hold on to me.
okay, that's
And I mean,
safe
I can
then.
always grab the damn. I don't expect to be like incapacitated.
I know,
You know
but
what I mean? But you never know.
You want to take preparations,
Right.
You never know. You might have a carp latch on your fucking leg. You ever see some of the fish down there?
Yeah.
Terrifying. I won't even jump in the river.
Right. I mean, here's the thing, dude.
Dude, the snapping I'm just like fucking with it.
Listen. I know this is the conversation I've had with everybody.
Yeah.
But I'm like, that's just gonna make it all the better. when
Yeah,
I
it
do
will. Once you're over it and you like,
Oh, bro, I'm gonna get on
through
that bike, dude. I'm gonna be like, I beat it, and then once I get off the bike after biking down the highway,
What's the
it's
most
not
you've
the
ever
highway,
biked
But,
at one time? Have you ever done a century?
no, I've done up to like 85 and stuff like that.
okay.
So, I mean, I
Light
know I
work.
could. I've done the swim 5 times in the pool.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's not swimming down the Mon, but and I've done the marathon. Like I know. If I do the expert plan that Ironman.com supplied
there.
me and
No
I follow
quitting.
it, and that doesn't work for me, I'm calling Ironman.com. You know what I mean?
You guys are fucked.
Like,
you know?
yo, what the fuck is up with this plan, man? I did it to the T, and
So what have you been doing to train up to this point? Obviously, you've been swimming. Like, have you been biking often?
yeah, I mean, it's just a mixture of stuff. So,
Yeah.
but I'll tell you the insight of it. It's, it's a balance between swimming, running, and biking.
Yeah.
But the insight essentially is the way you structure the workouts is that it's 3 weeks and then like kind of a chill week.
Yeah.
So you let's just say this, for example, let's just say you're biking 1 mile, just, arbitrary numbers.
Yeah.
1 mile week 1, 1.5 miles week 2, 2 miles week 3. Then you go back to that 1 you started at. Then the next month you start at 1.5.
Okay.
Then 2, then 2.5. So you're like staggering up.
Yeah, exponentially.
So you
it's
load,
grown.
3-week load increase, 1 week to recover, and then you start at a higher point than you did last time. And so you do that for 4 weeks or 16 weeks.
That's
Yeah,
I guess
that's how triathletes structure their
it's
workout.
so far removed for me because it's like I couldn't even imagine, like, whenever if I'm not listening to like something just like nasty when I'm running, I just want to die.
Okay,
I can never get.
You
got to
get past that. Though.
I know. I do.
Because see, this is the thing; it's meditative. For
Let me ask you a question though. You ever been almost 300 pounds and try to run a mile?
No, but I've been out of shape and tried to run a mile.
Bro, I'm telling you, I promise you, I've been in shape somewhat. It ain't the same. My knees feel like they're going to buckle. And the only person's fault it is me, but it's like running for younger people where it's like, or not younger people, but lighter people. I have a theory about this too. I have theories about everything.
I'm ready.
I have to, the access to your runner's high that all these people have is way further in the distance for people like me. But that's my fault. I mean, at least to my mind,
I'll say this. One, that could possibly be true.
Yeah.
But I'll say this. It won't benefit you at all to believe that.
Oh, I agree
So
with
I
you.
would say
I agree 100%.
Just eradicate that thought. Because here's the thing. I think even when, until I got really in shape, even just starting as like a skinny ass dude, it took a long time to be chilling running. Like it becomes meditative eventually, but it's, I wouldn't necessarily agree that the window, I don't know, right? You know what I mean? But it's not like instant. It's not like it's just easy.
I know you got to work.
And that's like anything too with swimming. It's more of even for swimming, right? I was a horrible, I basically had no clue what I was doing.
You're refining your technique, which allows you to go further.
Once you can do it, it starts to become natural. That's when you can escape in your mind, where you don't have to actually think about it. But that takes time for anybody doing anything.
I'll allow that.
Yeah,
that's fair.
That's like drawing.
That's fair.
If you don't know how to draw, you have to think about the thing itself. You can't escape. But
I like that.
That's the same amount of time for everybody, probably close to.
Do you have this is kind of like a big full circle, but we talked about like you're a disciple of discipline. You said whenever I asked you what your routine is, with you doing all this working out, it's scientifically proven that it's beneficial to your health. Do you think that it is beneficial to your creativity as well?
Yeah, but not particularly. That's unique to me.
Why?
Is what I'll say. Well, okay. So as far as the creativity goes,
let me rephrase it so it's not such a loaded question. Do you have problems channeling creativity for your artwork?
No. Well, so I would, but I do, but that's only when I'm out of alignment with the vision. Okay. So I guess I'll say this. The only way to be fully present at any time, at any given time, which is where you can then be creative.
Yeah.
And this goes for anything, using your imagination, your creativity. You have to be fully present in the moment. And that's just kind of that flow state, right?
Yeah.
If you're not in flow state, you're like fighting the outside world.
You're not all there.
Yeah, you're not all there. Okay. So in order to get present, I have to live within alignment of the vision I have for myself.
Yeah.
Okay.
You have to check your own boxes to be able to.
So I have to discipline myself to live in a way that aligns with the person I want to become. Then I don't have any regrets on my behavior and I don't have any worries about the future because I'm doing all the things I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah. So you don't have to think about it later
because I'm fully present.
You're there.
I'm fully present. Then all the ideas, where do they come from? I don't know. That's how you tap into that shit.
It's like what made you want to
You have to become a receiver.
You have to be all right with yourself.
100%. It's like anxiety's worrying about the future, depression's worrying about the past. And if you have either of those things, you can't be present in the moment. And so you can't get those ideas.
Where'd you hear that?
That's what I went deep down in my soul to find.
Anxiety is
that's what it
worrying
is,
about the future.
Yeah.
Say this again.
All right. Do you want me to just like explain
No. I want you to
my
say exactly what you just said.
Anxiety is worrying about the future. Depression is worrying about the past.
Man.
And when you have one of those two things,
I'm gonna put that in my bag.
put it in the bag.
165th gem right there.
That's the one. But that's it. So when you have anxiety, you ask yourself, the reason you get anxiety, essentially anxiety is a call to action.
Yeah.
It's telling you, bro, get the fuck up. Like if you're anxious about something that's coming in the future, it's because you're not doing enough to prepare for it. It's actually like a hookup if you really want to look at it like that. It's a hookup from the future. Like, yo, get your fucking ass up and do this because you're going to be better off when that thing comes if you do that shit right now.
Wow.
Then if it's the past, it's just shit you already did.
Yeah.
But you gotta
dwelling on that.
You got to let that shit go.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And then also make sure that you stop fucking doing that stuff that you regret.
That's amazing.
It's called conscience congruency is like the idea. That's like what I firmly try to live my life by. Obviously I'm a human being.
Yeah.
I don't do it perfectly every day, but if you can string that together for a long time, bro, I call it like tapping in, touching God, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
But that's being completely in tune with like the universe.
Wow.
Yeah. Cause you're like there, dude. Everything is just chill. It's not this
all the cards are on the table.
People look for happiness. Okay, like people look for happiness with like pleasureful things.
Yeah.
But that's joy. And joy just like glows. It's like this. You're just a little happy, but like
it's like a firework. It goes away.
Dude. You're content when you have joy. Like when you have that peace.
Yeah.
That's what people are really looking for. A lot of times people try to like fill everything with pleasure and it just spikes, but that nothing pleasureful will fulfill you.
Wow.
You know? It's like you got to find that joy, that fulfillment. And that's through discipline.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's some powerful shit.
It's good shit, man.
That is.
I mean,
it
changed my life.
Where does where does your work come from? Like, obviously, you have situations in life that come up organically, like a passing of Mac Miller. I'm sure, like, just as like me, like you, like a lot of the other people in the world, his music and what he offered to the world was just like priceless. So, I mean, it would only be right to, talk about it and do a piece like that. Like where do you have pieces like, Michael Jordan? Like, why'd you do the Michael Jordan piece? Like, how did you kind of come up with these things?
Well, those ones, I mean, again, those are probably mostly commissions. The Mac Miller one I did because that like actually fucked me up when he passed. Because back then I was doing a lot of drinking and shit like that. I had my own little stint with the booze, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that like when he would talk about that shit would help me.
Yeah.
Hearing somebody else just kind of I could relate to and like the pain and the struggle of that stuff. And then I also realized like how I was so sad because I realized that shook me to be like, yo, you really need to get on your own shit. Because this dude definitely had more to say, but like, look how much he affected your life.
Oh my God.
And now he's gone and like, he probably didn't get to say everything, and like, he had such an impact on you, dude. You need to like, it's your responsibility. Like you don't even have a choice, man.
Yeah.
Like, you need to fucking start like doing that shit, putting yourself out there so that it can help other people too. It's not even about you at this point. It's about everybody else. Like I owe it to everybody else to say what I want to say and like try to be a positive influence.
Wow.
And I need to do it now.
A voice of action for the lost.
Right. Yeah.
Wow.
So
that's pretty incredible. Now, I just saw the video you posted the other day where you were doing the clouds and everything like that. Was that the Superman video?
Yeah.
It's like, are these commissions or are these things?
No, that one I whipped up on my own.
Yeah.
But like, that's how all my shit's going to be from now on.
Yeah.
It's about what I just talked about.
Yeah.
It's about the idea of like conscious congruency and living, I see everything like this essentially. I mean, I'll just give you my big open idea. So the way I view my life and the way I think kind of what we're all here to do is essentially follow our own vision of the highest vision we have for ourselves.
Who we hope to be.
Yeah. And that though is extremely intimidating and scary. And
you think?
Yes, because you have to overcome a ton of obstacles to do that. The difference between, like the person you ideally see yourself as, right? Mm-hmm. And you right now, there's a gap there.
Yeah.
And the reason there's a gap there is because you aren't that person. And the things that are in the way of that are all the obstacles that you need to go through to become that person, right?
Yeah.
And those are intimidating. That's a lot of shit. Like might be like quitting your job or doing this or that and all these big scary things. And we all know because we all have that vision for who we should be or want to be. And it's just everybody, we are always afraid of that stuff naturally because it's scary. Everybody should be scared of that stuff. But overcoming that fear and moving, like pursuing that endeavor steadfastly is what inspires other people to do that as well. Like the people in your life see you going after this.
Yeah.
And like, yo, he's doing his thing.
Yeah.
Maybe I could do mine.
Yeah.
And that's like you spreading that energy of like that positivity.
Yeah, the energy.
And that's what people love, man. They love to see that. And that's what inspires everybody else around you to pursue their thing.
Fuck yeah.
And that's what I really think you're here to do. And the interesting thing about it too is that it's the most selfish thing you could do is use them as your motivation. Like me trying to do this here to Erie shit. I mean, I can't tell you how many people once I got in shape, how many people asked me, yo, what are you doing? How are you doing that? How'd you get your six pack? Da, 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 da. And I'm just putting people on this shit when before, like I could have like went out and been like, hey, you should work out. You should work. Like that doesn't work like that. Me going after it and setting the example and living the teachings myself, personifying the teachings. People just ask you, and it inspires them. And so really like, I think of them. I think everybody else around me that I'm like, yo, when I do this shit and then after this and I start making my own stuff, I'm going to blow my shit the fuck up. And when it does eventually get there, it might take forever.
Yeah.
I don't know how it's going to go, but I'm going to fucking do it because I'm going to show everybody around me that, yo, you can fucking do whatever you want. Like anything's possible. You just have to do it. You know what I mean? But it's not about me.
Oh, I'm motivated.
It's for them, dude. Yeah. Well, I'm saying like, it's like that though, but that's really how it is. And then it's the most selfless thing you could do. Yeah. And that's what motivates you.
That's such a good way to say it. Selfish thing you could do because, I mean, it's both. It really is both things because it's like, obviously in the end of things, like I want to be able to, pay for my life by doing this podcast. Like that is the end goal of things. But I'm doing it in a way, and that's selfish, me doing it and wanting to like pay for things with this. That's selfish, but it's selfless because it's like, I'm so genuine when I'm doing this. Like I'm present when I'm talking to anyone, whether it be a fucking apiarist who is working with bees or a funeral director or you. And it's just like, wow, that's a good way to put it though. Selfish thing.
Well, think about like this too, right? So when you're working out, like every day after you work out, like how good do you feel? How much better do you treat everybody else?
Yeah.
The gym's the only place in the world that everybody holds the door with a smile. You know what I mean?
That ain't true at all.
Where?
Planet Fitness in Crafton. Fuck them people.
Okay, I don't know about
assholes, but I get what you're saying.
But it's like people get after it. When people do, all right, if you think about it like this, and
it brings people in. True, it brings people into that inner circle of like feel.
It's people doing stuff good for themselves. It's how you feel about yourself inside is how you treat everybody else.
Yeah.
Your behavior is a reflection of how you feel about
100%.
yourself.
If you feel shitty about yourself, you're going to take it out on other people.
So if you're not disciplining yourself and you're not taking steps to become that person that you see, like the highest version of yourself, you're going to treat everybody else shitty because you feel shitty about yourself. That's 100% the facts. So you almost have no choice but to pursue that highest ideal for yourself. Yeah. Because that's when you become the best for everybody else. And that's on a day-to-day level.
Wow.
Like the more you are in tune with what you're supposed to be doing and disciplining yourself to do all those hard things, face all those obstacles that you're afraid of.
Yeah.
When you overcome those, those stupid little things in life don't become an issue at all. Like your energy to everybody else is just good because you feel good about you.
Yeah,
you're like, yo, I'm a beast. I love me. But really what you're doing is saying I love you to everybody else because when shit comes up, you're chilling. You're not upset. You're not pissy. You're not yelling at people. You're not beeping at people in traffic. You're like, go ahead, dude. Like, you know what I mean?
It's like, I'm
small
cool.
stuff to the big stuff. It's being hard on yourself is how you be
better,
the best to everybody
else.
In your life. And it's so obvious.
Wow.
Yeah.
Damn.
That's sick shit, man.
That's another one in the bag.
It's a way to live. I like, trust me, dude. I'll open up about this a little bit, but my ex-girlfriend, like, I was always trying to be so good to her because I loved the shit out of her. She was incredible. And I always was doing this, like, I would try to be good on this, like, individual moment level, right? Where it's like, I'll do this, I'll do that, I'll do this, I'll do that. And I really, really tried my best, dude. But what I wasn't doing was living that path that I needed to go down for me. I wasn't disciplining myself towards my shit.
Yeah.
And no matter how hard I tried to do good by her. I was feeling bad about me.
Yeah, you weren't fulfilled.
I was feeling bad about me, and that was just coming out.
Do you go to therapy?
No.
Have you ever?
No.
It's interesting because like you seem to be very reflective. So it's like, it's therapy and you're probably while you're doing your work, while you're by yourself. You say you don't watch TV and shit like that.
Yeah.
When, like, have you always been someone who has been, reflective? Is that the right word?
Not really, but then I got into it when I was just like, I was fucked up,
Yeah.
And I was like, I need to figure this shit out.
Yeah.
I listened to a lot of psychology. I listened to a lot of spiritual teachings, and I like anything positive. People like just dishing out life lessons and stuff like that. I try to soak
You do any
up.
yoga?
I used to. I get, like I said, with the meditation while running and stuff.
Yeah.
But like that's all day long if you're doing shit that you like to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I basically don't even live here half the time. I'm just like chilling in my head because I have all day to think because I don't have to think about what I'm doing. I'm just doing it. It's cool. Like it comes easy.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Man, I need to have a little bell.
Well, I'm telling you, all you gotta do is like a little discipline, bro. You'll be right there like this.
Yeah.
You could do it tomorrow.
Yeah.
You set goals, you write down everything that you. All right, here's a good thing. I'll be honest with you. This changed my life. There's this website, selfauthoring.com.
Yeah.
Jordan Peterson, if you ever heard of him. Okay, he runs that. But selfauthoring.com, it took me a long time to do, like a week basically. But you write there's 4 parts to it. You write everything you like about yourself in depth, everything you dislike about yourself in depth. Then you write about what the future possibly could be like if you did everything that you thought, if you like did all those good things all the way. And then you write like the worst outcome and you reflect on those things. Wow. And I wrote that worst one, dude. That was fucked up. I was looking at that and I'm like, man,
don't want that.
Fuck, it kicked my ass. So he explains it like this too. It's fucking dope. But he's like, imagine a mouse, all right, in like a little box.
Yeah.
Like a long little box, like like a wine bottle would be in, let's say. You put the mouse in at one end and he's hungry. There's cheese at the other. He's going to run towards that cheese. Like, and say you could measure that amount of force he ran towards that. Well, that would be whatever, let's say 5. Well, if you put a cat behind him, it's going to be about 10.
Yeah.
Because now he's running from something and he's running to something. And so it just, that's like the logic behind that exercise is so that now you know exactly where you don't want to fucking go and exactly where you want to go. And now either day you can have the motivation in one direction or the other.
That's fucking wild.
Yeah.
That's some powerful shit.
It's dope shit, man.
Yeah, I mean, like I said it on here 1,000 times before, but it's like you never know what type of conversation you're going to have with someone whenever they come in, and I often, I stopped, jumping to conclusions, and this is a perfect example why. It's like, I don't know, I feel like you're just dropping some fucking gems. You know what I mean? We're dropping gems up on this podcast.
Well, good, man. I'm glad I could bring some value to the pod here.
Yeah. I mean, not even to just everyone that's listening out there, but it's like to my life as well. Like the analogy of the mouse in the box and the cat behind it. Like it's interesting to think about that.
Yeah.
What are your goals as an artist and as a human being?
Well, as a human being, my thing is I just want to lift. I just have this idea of like lifting as much. I want to like lift the world up, if that makes any sense. Just like be so much myself and so like I write in my planner, biggest artist in the world.
Yeah.
But mainly I don't like who's the biggest, who's the best, whatever. I don't look at it as like this competitive thing. You know what I mean? I don't look at it on yeah, but you never want to limit yourself. Like why would I write the biggest artist in Pittsburgh? Why would I?
Yeah.
Fucking make it the biggest one that ever lived. You know what I mean?
Steve Jobs had a really, really great quote that it always stuck with me. It said, I want to put a ding in the universe.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's such like a small sentence, simple, but it's like, can mean whatever you want it to mean. And it means so much to me because it's like, we could all just get stuck in that fucking rat race and just become another rat. But it's like, I'm trying to be a fucking eagle soaring above, you know, that people could look at and like, kind of see that it's like fucking, something's possible. Like you said, it's like, I want to do things in hopes that people, are motivated to do things. One of the good, things about this podcast that I would hope to like try to implement is more younger people to listen to it, because it's like I want younger people that are like trying to figure out their life to listen to these people with different paths and like kind of hear about their logic, because whenever I was that young, it's like I had none of that, you know, like I would talk to my parents' friends and like, you know, kind of talked about that and take from what any situation you're in, like, you know, oh, my uncle was an entrepreneur, I'm going to use that sort of motivation. But it's like, I don't know. I want people to be able to like listen to all these different paths of careers and like hear about, you know, the positives and the negatives and the things that they wish they would have done better, because, you know, why not share that? You know, it's like I'm getting something from it. The interviewee is getting something from it. And it's like, I would hope that other people would, you know, be able to take these so-called gems, like the one that you were, like all these ones that you were dropping that I have in my bag. It's like, I want that to be, you know, a possibility, because it's like, you know, I'm talking to people, I want the best for it.
Yeah.
Know?
Well, I think you're on your way, man. I mean, I listened to the show and
I appreciate that.
I pick up, it was even funny too, listening to the most recent one with your boy riding the bike. What was it, Will?
Will.
Yeah. I was just like, God, like, you know, I'm over here doing this thing. I'm like, man, this guy's punking me. Like,
right?
What's going on? Like, I'm following up this crazy. Yeah, it was great. But I mean, dude, with that
it's motivating
in mind, the way you're describing how you see, envision it and everything. I mean, that's motivating as hell. And if you think about the people that you're trying to serve, all the problems, that obstacles you face, it's like, it's bigger than you. Yeah, you know, when what I realized, that's the biggest thing for me too. Is like, if it's just me on the line, there's shit that's bigger than just me. Like, because I don't care about me that much. But when I think about what it would mean for other people, or like buying my parents a house, like that's actually to me way more important than being like the biggest artist in the world.
Yeah, just
like I want to be able to buy my parents everything ever.
Yeah.
And I'll drive the same fucking car. You know what I mean? Like, I'll buy them everything first.
I don't need to have crazy shit. I really don't like, I don't want anything. Like, I don't need a fucking mansion. Like, I want to live in this house. Mm-hmm. I want to have what I have, my dog. I want this. I just want to be able to not have to worry about serving time at someone else's passion to fuel mine. Yeah.
And you'll get there. Sooner you push through those things, you know?
I'm already through the mud, you know. I did the hard work already.
Right. I mean, hey, it gets harder, but you get stronger. That's the big thing.
Oh, that's it. Another one in that bag.
It does, bro. That's how it goes.
You're
just more prepared.
Ending segment that I do with all my guests is an ending segment called Desert Island Questions.
Nice.
So, the ending segment is where I give each guest 3 categories to take with them on a desert island to exhaust until they die. Okay. First category, 3 things to watch. So ideally you are Tom Hanks in Castaway. You get a little TV with an integrated DVD player in it.
Integrated DVD. 3 things to watch forever.
Yep. You get 3 DVDs just sitting on the table.
I would watch some sort of, and I don't know what, it wouldn't even matter. Yeah. But it would be 3 instructional. It would be like learning how to do a trade. I don't know how you would get a hold of those, but I would somehow
3 master classes.
Yeah, it'd be like 3 master classes. And then I would adapt it somehow to like, if it was like building tables, I would go and like do that.
Build a bunch of tables on an island.
Yeah, I mean, it would be something to do. You know what I mean? Like, I don't enjoy, it's not that I don't enjoy watching things. I do.
That's a good way to look at it.
But I like doing stuff
more.
I just do stuff all day long.
That's such an interesting way to think about it, because usually people are like, oh, I like this, I like that, and like that. But it's like, if you have 3 things that you could learn from, it's like, yeah, you're going to get tired of the movies after the first year. But it's like, if you're going to watch how you could build a house, you know, you could build a fucking mansion on this house.
And I'd probably have like a whole neighborhood there in a year or 2. You know what I mean?
I imagine just like making coconut people and just be like, oh, hey, Fred.
Yeah, I would have literally a whole shop full of island furniture.
I'll allow that. Now, humor me though. And if you had to pick movies.
If I had to pick movies, I like I mean, dude. All right, let me think. My go-to movie. There's this movie called A Guide to Recognizing Your Saints. Shia LaBeouf's in it.
A Guide to Recognizing Your Saints. Never heard of that.
Shia LaBeouf, Rosario Dawson.
Wow.
Channing Tatum. The dude from A Bronx Tale. I forget his name. The main dude.
Yeah.
It's a phenomenal cast. I like, for whatever reason, I watched that a ton of times. I'm a Star Wars guy. But I've only seen each of them like a couple, probably like some of them twice, all of them once.
right.
Empire Strikes Back, probably the best of them.
All right.
But that's all about like religion and shit, which is dope. If you like, I like it for that.
Star Wars?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's sick. So that like for like the lessons and the wisdom in that, because that's all real shit. If you read about that, like George Lucas and shit. And then I don't know, man. This movie called Dirty Work.
Dirty Work with
Norm Macdonald.
Yeah, Norm Macdonald. That's it.
Yeah.
I was waiting for Willy Wonka. Like,
Oh well. Okay. See, that's how much I watch. That's how much I like watch and think about that stuff.
When is the last time you watched Willy Wonka?
I've seen Willy Wonka like 20 times, and I can like say most of the lines.
When's the last time you watched it though?
It's like eight under a year.
Oh, okay.
I usually watch like a year, once every year.
It's pretty intense. I've been watching a lot of older movies that I used to watch and like picking up on stuff now, and it's just like so very bizarre. Like it's a bizarre movie. A lot of like the kids air quotes movies are very bizarre.
Yeah. That one in particular too. It has some dark stuff.
Weird as hell.
It's weird. I didn't even think of that because like that's like in another. It's like its own thing.
Yeah, it's already
like part
there.
of. It's like integrated in me. I wouldn't be like, I'm going to sit down and watch a movie. Let's watch Willy Wonka. You know what I mean? It's like something else to me.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Okay. So, do you read a lot?
Yeah, a good bit. I've been slacking lately, but I've read it.
If you got to bring 3 books on the desert island,
As a Man Thinketh, As a Man Thinketh, As a Man Thinketh. I mean,
what is that?
It's by James Allen. It's
As a Man Thinketh.
Yeah. It's
what is
where
that
the
about?
quote on my wall comes from.
Oh, I've seen that quote before.
Yeah.
Say it.
Men are anxious to improve their circumstances, but are unwilling to improve themselves. Therefore, they remain bound.
Man.
Yeah.
I saw that creeping through your Instagram.
Yeah, because it's like basically it's like you're a bitch when you look at it. You know, like that's how it, and that's what motivates me. Like I like that shit where it's like 100% accountability no matter what across the board, accepting all responsibility for your situation, not putting it in anybody else's hands. Like that's what I believe in. As a Man Thinketh is all about just how your thoughts turn into actions, which turn into your reality. So it's all about programming your brain to like think the right thoughts.
James Allen.
Yeah. He's one of the best. Yeah. He's one of I'll get you a copy because I just like give people it.
Okay.
It's like, that's how it's basically my Bible in a way you could say.
I'll definitely read it.
Yeah.
All right.
It's the best.
That's good.
But I would take that. There's I'm trying to think like for fun. I don't really read too much. Like, no, I read shit like that.
Yeah.
Like personal development stuff.
Absolutely.
The Richest Man in Babylon's a good book.
Never heard of that.
It's just all it's basic finance education, but like the simplest shit. And
I could probably help
it's
out
a
with
dude.
that.
It's a dude in ancient Babylon who like they just talk about how he handles his money. But it's like super simple. It's not like open an IRA. It's just like, yo, take 10%, save it, whatever you get.
Yeah.
Take your money, make it work for you to make more money. Like
I've heard
the
that.
simplest
Make
stuff.
your money work for
the
you.
simplest stuff.
Yeah.
But like on the most basic, like if you need to like fuck with your finances, get this book, Richest Man in Babylon. It's the easiest thing. Cause then your brain, it doesn't tell you like every single thing that applies to the modern world, but you understand the theory of everything.
You can understand
which
the
is then all
theories.
that matters because you can learn the rest of the shit easy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're starting at the root.
All
You
right.
know what I mean? It's good shit.
I like that.
And I don't know, man. Other than that, what else did I like recently that I read? I don't want to put too much, dead space in here.
That's all right.
I don't know.
I'm a professional. Anyway.
I got 2.
Yeah,
That's good. How
2's
about that?
good.
Too?
I'll give
I
you
would
2
just read
copies.
As a Man Thinketh all the time.
I'll give you 2 copies.
I read that probably every 3 months.
Is it a long book?
No. It's like 60 small pages.
I'll rip it. You ever read The Last Lecture?
No.
Man, that's one that I'll get you. Let's
Trade?
change books.
All right, let's do it.
Last lecture is about Randy Powell. He was a professor at Carnegie Mellon. And he had cancer and died, but it was basically
his last lecture?
It was basically like his life and like how the outlook of his life changed. And one of the stories that like kind of got me into it was this lady was talking about how she was like miserable, like driving into work or whatever like that, and saw this guy in a car that was just like cheery and like having a great time just listening to music, and it ended up being the dude who had fucking terminal cancer. And it was just like the way that, you know, it's been a while since I read it, but like it's been on my list to like dive back into, but nice. I'm going to read your book and I want you to read mine, and then we're going to talk about it.
I got the Bible would be my thing.
The Bible?
But not because I've read it. Because that's like the next thing I'm going to do is study the Bible like thoroughly. Yeah,
it'll be interesting. I've been talking to my buddy about that. He has been talking about like reading through it. I don't subscribe to any like, you know, organized religion. But I came up Catholic, went through all the sacraments and everything like that, but I drifted away from it. But I'm not necessarily like coming around to religion. I'm definitely more spiritual. Like I don't, you know, whatever, Catholicism, it's just, I might not believe in that, but I believe in something. I would like to read that though, just to be able to kind of like, you know, come up with what my own thing about it. Yeah. It's fascinating. Like I talked to a rabbi on here during Hanukkah. Like I wanted to talk to someone about Hanukkah because, like, you know, everyone knows about Christmas. Doesn't matter what religion you are, doesn't matter anything. It's just normalized throughout the world. So I was like, I want to talk to someone who does not necessarily celebrate that, and I want to hear about their life. But that ended up being only just like a stitch of our conversation because it ain't even a big deal. Hanukkah is not a big deal. It's not like Christmas, you know, and just hearing people's thoughts on religion, like other people's thoughts, it's just so like fascinating to me. Definitely a good episode. You should listen to that.
Okay. What's his name?
His name is Jeremy Marquez.
Okay. Yeah, I'll check it out for sure.
He's interesting. I'll send it to you. But the third category is 3 things to listen to. So you get the 3 CDs. You get a disc.
Nice. I see. Now this is something I consume. I listen to a lot of music because
let me know
if I'm chilling.
Let me know.
The top 3 though. First one that came to mind is Dark Side of the Moon, Pink Floyd. That's my shit.
Okay.
That was the first time I did mushrooms.
Was it a positive experience for you?
Fuck yeah, I did. I'm completely sober right now, but I'll do mushrooms.
Yeah.
But I do them as like therapy.
Yeah, therapy.
I sit there and I think.
Yeah.
I don't try to like go and just like be like, whoa, this is crazy. You know, you can just like sit down, think about what you need to think about.
Yeah.
From a new perspective.
Face your demons.
And boom, you're rocking and rolling. But yeah, that was the first time I did them, and I went to that laser light show at the Science Center. That was wild. I was in high school then.
Yeah, so that's whenever you were
that
like,
was when I was fucking exactly. But that's what led me to.
Once you do that one time, you're like,
you get that one out.
You could use that.
Yeah. But I do remember, dude, the first time I did them, I was like, man, I love my parents, dude.
Yeah.
And I was like moved.
That's awesome.
And I was like, I love my friends. Like, yeah. So I had that little bit of that.
I definitely cried whenever I ate mushrooms.
Yeah.
It was very emotional.
They're fucking sick. I'm going to be a spokesperson for them one day.
Yeah.
For sure. And using them the proper, you know, like the way I use them. Dark Side of the Moon, Salad Days, Mac DeMarco. It's just like super chill. That was like, that got me through my hard times out in LA. He just had this like, you know, Salad Days are like your youth, like chill, carefree days. That's called like the Salad Days. And the album's just like lo-fi. I don't know. You call it lo-fi rock. I don't know what you call it. Alternative. He's chill. He's just like this chill dude.
Chill dude.
Yeah. Really cool album. And then, I mean, I think Illmatic's my favorite hip hop album of all time.
That's probably, I think that might be the most chosen on here, maybe. Yeah. One of them at least. I was never like crazy, like a crazy Nas fan.
Yeah.
Like I like him, but it's just like, you know, I don't know. I also was someone who made.
Who'd you grow up on? Who's like your main dude?
Biggie, Bone Thugs, Tupac.
Bone Thugs?
My brother's 6 years older than me, and he went to McKeesport. Okay. So like everyone in McKeesport was groomed to listen to Bone Thugs and Harmony. I swear,
dude, Bone Thugs is good.
I mean, you can't beat him. Met him. VIP for the Bone Thugs show and everything.
Oh, no
a
way.
couple years in a row.
Whoa.
I was in there. But like that was like me and my brother's thing is like we would just, I would listen to that. He would bring home Master P shit, all these people, and he put me onto so much cool shit. He was like that coffee filter. I wasn't the first child, so I didn't have to like, find my own shit. My brother was like, this is dope.
That's great though.
Yeah.
That helps,
It definitely
especially
helps.
back then when there wasn't like algorithms telling you like listen to this
yeah,
shit.
dude.
Yeah.
It's like, he started me off on that, but he also like kind of cultivated an inquisitive person that wanted to listen to shit that, was good. So like that's whenever I would like be digging deep into MySpace and finding like weird shit.
MySpace music.
Yeah, MySpace and everything.
Nice.
But I grew up on like Biggie and like fucking, shit like that, the old school hip hop.
Yeah.
But I guess, yeah, old school.
I'm kind of punking I'm punking Currency here because Currency is my favorite rapper, but I can't. It's hard to say like one of his mixtapes or albums
he has
a million,
Yeah.
and I've like probably 5 that are like.
I've said it on here before that if I could live anyone's lifestyle, it would be his.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he has the dopest lifestyle.
Yeah.
He is not, he's super famous enough to where he never has to worry about anything with money, but he's low key enough where he could walk through an airport and I'm sure he's not going to get bombarded like Wiz.
Yeah. Have you heard him say that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he said he's like famous to get in for free, but not famous enough. People are bothering me.
Yeah,
That's
like
what he said.
that's the best thing ever. And it's like he wakes up, shines his cars, builds some models, wearing sweatsuits.
I mean,
like,
that's a guy who, that's exactly
the lifestyle.
I agree 100% with what you said.
Yeah.
That guy is the closest thing that I have to a role model. And it's not anything specific to what he does.
I just like the way he moves.
It's his, that he's being authentic to who he is. And he's just doing what he likes to do.
He's been doing it for years too. And he's been able to.
And he went through the struggle, dude.
Yeah.
He talks about that in an interview too. He's like, you got to keep pushing through. Like, you never know how close you are to actually like getting through it.
Yeah, it's like that meme of someone with a pitchfork.
Exactly.
And like
the diamond
it's
there.
so long and then there's a diamond an inch away and you're like, damn, that's powerful shit.
Yeah, it
it's
is.
like,
And that's what he talks. Well, he brought it up in one thing. He said it was funny. He said when he knew the lights were going to get shut off or like close to getting shut off, he would I forget what he did. There was a ceiling fan that he would want on in the day.
Yeah.
So he would just this is what he did. He would turn the ceiling fan on at night so that if he woke up and the ceiling fan was off, he didn't go to hit the lights. Because when he would flip the switch and they wouldn't turn on, it would make him feel bad.
Yeah.
So he would turn the fan on at night. So if the lights got shut off overnight, he would know they weren't on.
Yeah,
and he wouldn't attempt to do the light switch.
He's definitely, that dude's dope.
Yeah.
He's definitely dope. And I like how he's like almost like a, he's just like an OG to like, younger people, it's all, and plus he has like the ties to Pittsburgh. Like it's dope. You can't really beat that. But that's a good, those are good picks.
Yeah, that's me. I listen to everything though,
That's good.
That's
picks.
the one thing I'm cultured in that. Movies, don't ask me much.
What's the last live show you've been to?
Last live show? Something small at the cafe down there on Carson.
Yeah.
I went to Currency when he was here last. I'm trying some like small jammy thing.
Yeah.
I went to a bunch. I went to that one that was in McKeejox too. That new spot.
Roxy.
Yes, and I saw a jam band there. But that was like right before everything ended.
Yeah.
So I like hitting live shows.
I like hitting live shows. I am someone who is, I definitely have social anxiety as far as like being in places. Like if I'm in a big crowd of places, I just feel like I can never not be on edge. I'm always just like head on a swivel and I can never really feel like comfortable. But I tend to felt like that, like at the shows that I would go to, because we would go to a lot. But after this quarantine and everything, like I hated going to bars. I never drank. I hated being in bars.
Yeah.
But I would have like a feeling of social anxiety. But now it's like I want to just being able to talk to people in this world of a pandemic is like so refreshing to me. And I can't wait to be able to go. I bought my first tickets to, you know who Mark Riblier is?
Yeah. He's coming?
Yeah.
Nice.
It might have sold out.
Where is he coming?
It's like it's October 12th. And I think he is going to be at Smalls. Or not Smalls, but Stage AE maybe? One of them.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I fuck with that dude.
He's hilarious.
Hilarious guy. And he's
a
just
guy
so
fully, you want
talented.
to talk fully present.
Yeah.
That's channeling.
Yeah,
he's fully present.
You can't fake that
He's
funk.
just coming.
Yeah.
Things are just coming, and he is a channel.
Yeah.
It's coming from somewhere, and it's coming out of him.
I agree with that.
He's just there, man.
Okay, so the third to last question, the most important question. Actually, it's not the most important, but this is the death row meal. So the death row meal, you ever see them articles on people that are being put to death?
Yeah.
They get to pick their last meal. What's
Yeah.
your last meal? I need an appetizer, I need
thought
a
of
main
this one.
course, and I need a dessert.
I thought about this one.
Tell me
This
it.
is the one I prepared for.
All right.
And I thought long and hard, so this is my honest answer.
I'm glad to hear
And
that.
I'm sticking with it. It might sound like hardball, but this is the answer. I would not take one.
You would not take one.
I would not let somebody serve me my last meal.
All right.
I would not let someone have the satisfaction of being like, here. It's like,
I like that.
Fuck you to the end. Because, I mean, I don't know what I'm getting executed for, but doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like, if I don't want that guy thinking, getting any
I
kick
served
out
someone
of
my last
getting
meal.
that kick out of my account.
Skater Robs had a 30 rack and a carton of cigarettes.
Sounds about right, man.
So
Sounds about
funny.
right. Which is actually probably the best answer. I mean,
Yeah.
if I wasn't saying nothing, maybe that. But like, nah. And if I guess I'll say this.
Yeah,
if I could
entertainment.
have just one dish ever, a steak and some fries. It's just nice and simple.
Yeah,
With a
nice.
cherry Jolly Rancher on there.
A cherry Jolly Rancher?
So I think it's the best flavor in the world. Cherry Jolly Rancher.
You want that on your steak?
Not like on it.
Oh, but
I'm saying
as a
like
dessert.
that. If there was the last flavor in my mouth is a cherry Jolly Rancher.
All right, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. Man, you were ready for it.
Yeah. That's
Steak and some sort of starch is definitely the most picked on here. You know, it's interesting what people say, but you never know. Second to last question. I usually do something called the Turner's Crate. I'm sponsored by Turner's Premium Iced Tea, Turner Dairy Farms. And I was asking people to pick a randomly submit. Like I would have everyone that was a guest to submit a question into this crate and have them pick it. But pandemic, didn't want to have to deal with it. I think some of the questions that I hand wrote got lost in the move, so I'm going to have to redo that again.
Okay.
But I've been asking everyone, if you were going on a road trip and you're getting ready and you get to walk into a gas station and only pick one snack for the rest of your life, this is the only, you're on the highway to hell. This is the last one you get. What would your snack be?
straight to hell. I'm taking some David Ranch sunflower seeds.
Ranch sunflower seeds.
Yeah.
Oh,
all
wow.
day long.
Yeah.
I used to chew whatever. But then I got on the seeds to get off that.
Yeah. And
then
now you're addicted to seeds.
No, not at all. But like I do love seeds.
Scratching his neck right now.
Gotta get some seeds.
I love, I feel like if you ever played baseball as a young kid,
I would pound them.
yeah, you just get them in there. Ranch, barbecue, they were all
They had
good.
the nacho cheese back then too, which were good. But yeah, seeds all day long.
All right.
Yeah.
That's all right. That's a good one. Are you someone that eats the seeds?
No.
Okay.
Bro, I did when I was a little kid. I used to do that.
Well, that's why I asked you, because like
Did
I know
not
people that
come
did
out
that.
well. I'll just say that. I had some brutal experiences. I used to eat so much of them. I had some bad experience. Don't do that, people. at
Shitting
home.
owl pellets out.
Let's just say they all, there's some sharp ends in there, man.
Sharp ends. All right. So the last question that I ask everyone is, if you could have a conversation with anyone alive or dead, who would it be and why?
Einstein.
Einstein?
Yeah. Automatic. Because he believed, he was a scientific man, but then he also believed in God.
Yeah,
and like, here's the thing.
possibilities.
We didn't really get into that at all, but like religion to me, I grew up Orthodox Christian. I was like an altar boy, all that jazz,
Yeah.
But then I was very atheist, and then maybe say agnostic. But now I'm fully in on, I don't look at God as like a guy in the sky. I look at it. You want to talk more about like the universe and the energy of things. I do believe in a higher power, but he did too. And Einstein was a guy who believed that he was just channeling he was getting his answers from somewhere else. He like the same way, where do your ideas come from for the pieces and shit, that type of thing. He thought that about his work. So like I would want to talk to him about that.
That's a good answer.
Yeah.
I think he was picked on here before, but that's definitely a good answer. I always my answer always changes.
Who are you thinking?
sometimes I weigh on, like Robin Williams, Richard Pryor, but sometimes, I would love to talk to someone like the fucking Rock even, or someone like, it's endless. I would love to talk to Nikola Tesla. Yeah. Like that dude was such a weird motherfucker. I would love to just talk to him about that.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to talk about, like things, I guess like if I wanted to talk spirituality, I'm going Einstein.
Yeah.
But like if I wanted to talk about like actual physics and, the science of stuff, I'd go Tesla.
But then think about talking to fucking Steven Spielberg. You know what I mean? Or like people like that.
Yeah. I mean, George Lucas would be up there because he studied the same thing I'm studying now, which is The Hero of a Thousand Faces. It's a book by Joseph Campbell.
Yeah.
It's that at the core of every religion is some sort of similar story, similar thing, experience that everybody has.
Yeah.
And like that's what I was saying about Star Wars. Like that's what Star Wars is about. It's actually like religion.
See, I didn't know anything about that.
Yeah. That makes Star Wars so much doper if you watch it because it's like
it's been a long time since I watched
church.
them. It's better than church. I like to revisit old stuff though. Now that I'm a little bit older, just so I could like gather more things from it. But I do need to watch all them again.
Look up if you plan on doing that, right? If you actually are going to watch them, before you do, look up like
the theory, the
basis, and like the inspiration for it from him, and then watch it again. Because you'll be like, oh, like, I get it. I get what the Force is.
Yeah.
Because they just talk, it's all energy exchange. And it's all stuff that actually is real. Which is hard to believe in ways. But like, it's all just a cool story to try to teach you religion.
Yeah, that you could follow along with. It's a little bit more relatable to, not relatable, but easier to grasp.
Yeah. I mean, it's more fun.
Yeah, more fun.
It's George Lucas's way of trying to lift everybody up.
And being a good teacher and being able to communicate it in a way that people want to learn it.
Yeah. Listen to him talk. He probably said, I probably stole some of the shit he said. It's the same message.
I think that this was this is a sensational podcast. This is, this is everything I would have ever wanted in an episode of a podcast. Like, you had good stuff, funny stuff. We learned about you. We go over just crazy shit, and we're dropping gems on this thing.
Cool.
And I enjoyed talking to you. Like, I didn't really know anything about you before. What's your last name?
Maravich.
Yeah,
Eli Maravich.
Eli. See, before this, I would have not even known your name if Nick didn't tell me. Right. I just knew Fancy Bread.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm going to roll as, Fancy Bread, like publicly. So
yeah.
So, I just want it to be Fancy Bread.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to leave.
Well, you call me Eli, but
Can I leave that in here?
Yeah, for sure.
You're not like against people knowing.
Oh,
your name,
no,
right?
no. I mean, anybody eventually their name comes out anyway. But I'm just saying I'll always just be like Fancy Bread.
All right.
As things progress.
Now, take a second and promote everywhere. Promote where you could donate to this cause.
Yeah.
Promote,
it's all just my Instagram, which is at Fancy Bread. And the link to the GoFundMe will be in the bio. There'll be a video explaining everything. The course, I have it all broken down, some video of just, me doing it. Explains it all. But that'll be in the bio. And then you can follow there. I'm also on Twitter, but I just basically repost Instagram stuff to there, which is at the Fancy Bread. I'll be diving into the NFT world on there shortly after this whole Iron Man ordeal.
I don't even understand what it is.
Yeah, it's a can of worms, but there's a lot of potential for big stuff in there, and that's where I'm gonna make a big play, and we'll see how it goes. Obviously don't know for sure, but that's like a big focus. I'm gonna do like a 2-prong attack, Instagram and NFTs. So we'll see how it goes, but yeah, it's all coming right after this Iron Man. I'm going to do that and then dive into my own stuff and actually put effort into growing. So,
do you think you'll have like do you think when you finish this, it'll be like more of an emotional feeling, or do you think it'll be more of just like, I knew I was going to do it?
It's weird because I knew I was going to do it after I did. I knew I was going to do it after the first time I did this swim completely, because that was like the main thing I was worried about. Well, I guess too, I did like a 4-hour or 6-hour bike ride, like a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
And once I did that and I felt like completely fine, I was like, I got this for sure. Even though you think that, there's still all that emotion. Like, there's no way, dude, that like I'm going to get there. I'll probably cry.
Yeah.
A little bit. but not, obviously because I'm pumped, but not because I'm like sad. It's over. I'm going to be so hyped to not be working out 16 hours a week.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude. And then I think my parents will probably come up to like watch me jump in the lake, and my buddies will be there who help me, who like, I see Nick every day. So he knows how much I'm working at it. So there'll be a little bit, it'll be big for me, and especially like not drinking and shit. Cause
how long's that been going on?
Since the beginning of the year. I drank on New Year's, and then I was like, I'm not doing it anymore.
Wow.
Yeah. Cause well, dude, here's the thing. I gave up so much shit, man. Like I was in relationships, and then like, just like all relationships, fun, like social stuff. Like I could have got a normal job and actually been able to travel and do all that shit. I've sacrificed like so much important stuff in my life to get where I'm at. And then like I couldn't beat Natty Light, it's like, and I'm like, dude, if you fucking let smoking a blunt and drinking beer defeat you after you've given up all these significant things, you're a goddamn moron.
Yeah.
Like it's time to give that up too. And then look, if it doesn't make a difference, then go back, like no big deal. But like you have to try. And so I've been disciplined the fuck at myself with that. And so that
you eat pretty disciplined too? Yeah.
I mean, you got it, like counting your macros.
Yeah.
That's a massive thing. It just, when you put the right fuel in your body at the right amounts, dude, you don't even know the difference. Like I tried to get in shape for a year. I was trying to get a 6-pack for a year, doing shit every single fucking day. And I changed my diet, did in a month, bang, 6-pack.
No big deal.
But it was like I know it's like I was trying to do something the wrong way.
You're compacting your problems because they always say, it all starts in the kitchen.
I was trying to outwork a bad diet. The diet, bro, if you don't work out and you eat a good diet, you don't even need to work out. It'll slowly go. But those in combination, bro, they're 50-50. It's 50-50.
Yeah.
Like straight up, it's 50-50.
You want to hit a workout after this?
I'm down. Let's do it. Seriously, I'll work out.
All right. Yeah. Well, I guess that's what we're going to do real quick. Quick 3 sets. It'll be fine. Everyone else that's listening, please follow Fancy Bread. Click the link in his bio. The money is going to good things. And, this is a powerful moment for an individual to want to dig deep down and want to do things like that just to better themselves as a human being, spiritually, mentally, physically. It's motivation. It's another motivational story to add to my arsenal of, things that keep me going out there and like wanting to get going. But I appreciate everyone listening as usual. Please, if you have not yet, rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast. That is the biggest help you could do. And I appreciate everyone listening as usual. We got fire episodes coming each and every week. And I will be taking a vacation sometime coming up. 1 week I'm going to take off. And that's just the way it got to be. But thanks for listening, and I'll call you right back.